Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic. And like I say, we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So tell all your friends if they want to talk about cars, boats, trucks, or anything you put gas in, this is where we do it. We got all the fellas in the chat. We got Road Trip Ray. He's going to come in real quick from the highway.
Okay, camp. Let's see if we can camp.
What's up, Ray?
Lewis, you hear me, but you don't. Oh, you do see us. Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Let's go.
How's it going?
I got to get out of this thing here. All right. We're driving through Pennsylvania.
Yeah. How's the trip going?
You know, going well. Going well. We're making good time. We only had a couple broken straps, and just keep stopping for fuel and avoiding weirdo drivers.
Yeah, right. So you went to Indianapolis to pick up what kind of car?
We were in Indianapolis. Well, we were actually here's Chris, here's our driver. Martinsville, Indiana is where we went.
Okay.
Which is outside of Indianapolis. And
south.
Yeah, just south of it. We picked up a 59 Chevy Brookwood wagon that was started as a resto mod project and never finished.
Uh-huh.
And the guy who was building it, he traded a car to the guy who was having it built, and now he sold it. My buddy Chris bought it. Bought it back in February, actually. So we've been just waiting to make this trip and pick it up.
Yeah. The pictures you sent me look pretty good. Nice looking car.
Yeah. I'll be posting stuff too. Maybe I should do this.
There's a light up there.
I don't want to be putting
No, you were good.
Kind of dark in the truck.
No, you were good.
So, yeah, we were really hoping. I really wanted to stop by. We went right through Youngstown. I really wanted to stop on the way back because there was a cool truck stop we stopped at. And we passed Summit, and we wanted to stop in there too. But around Columbus, it detoured us over to 70 because we're using these two different GPS. One is a regular one is a trucker GPS.
Mm-hmm.
So, for avoiding tolls and this and that, it took us around 70. So we missed it. But I'll tell you something, there's more parts to be picked up and more business to be done over here. So this may not be the last time we're out this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping you made it back. I was going to buy you lunch or dinner or whatever.
You're going to be on the guaranteed stop list. That's right, because we wanted to stop and meet you.
We're coming out. I want lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard all about the smoking. I want the ribs.
Oh, I was talking about that's Tyler. Yeah.
That's Tyler.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's Tyler's
Tyler's
place,
in the house too. Tyler's becoming the hot spot.
Excellent. Yeah, we're working on a hot spot. There's Tyler. How are you?
We're about to go in a tunnel.
Oh, we're going to go through a tunnel, so you may lose us for a minute.
All right.
We went through a couple tunnels. Went through the Appalachian Mountain Tunnel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, on I-80.
Oh,
no. On 70.
76. Yeah.
We got dumped in a fucked up way.
This is the Tuscarora Mountain Tunnel. So we'll see if the GPS stayed before, so they may have repeated it here. Who knows? Well, that's good. The lighting is good. That's much better.
Yeah, just pull over and stop in there. It's good studio lighting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pull over. Not too much room to pull over.
So
Hey, Brian.
You guys didn't get to stop at Summit, huh?
No, we passed it, and Chris, we both wanted to stop in there because I was telling him the stories that you told us about, how it's like the Christmas paradise for car guys. So it's on our list. Next trip, we're doing it. We're going to stop at that truck stop again, and we'll be at Summit, and we'll just, because there's more parts to be picked up. So.
Well, right around the corner from Summit, there's this really crazy, unique restaurant called Mike's Place. That'd be a great place to have lunch.
Sounds good.
So how much did you bring home, Ray?
I came back empty. We were the guy there had really nothing for me, And I said, okay, we'll stop at Summit on the way back. And maybe I buy my coilovers. But we got out of that deal too. So I'm looking for a set of coilovers for a GM A-body. If anybody comes across, I'll pay them.
All right.
So
hey, Tyler, where is JoJo's truck stop?
JoJo's?
it was like exit 230 off of I-80.
Oh, Truck World.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They may have
What am I calling?
rebranded
Truck
it,
World.
but yeah.
Great place.
Oh, yeah, that's my spot.
I tell you, the hot dogs were $1.40. You want to go eat hot dogs?
Yeah.
Well, hell, I'll go for a road trip. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I used to get all my chrome for my trucks there. That's a chrome shop.
Very. Louis, what's the name of the place that Lou always talked about down in North Carolina, in the South? The big truck place that they sell all the chrome and stuff. Yeah, we used to go there for paint and some hardware and supplies.
Oh, I've never been there.
It was a
It
truck
was Chrome Shop.
I don't think that's it. It was. I think it was something else.
Now the truck stop in Iowa is the big dog.
Iowa 80.
Iowa 80 truck stop. It's no joke, man. They got trucks and stuff in the lobby.
That place has its own zip code, I believe. Don't they have their own post office and zip code?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every part of the truck you can buy in chrome from that place. Yep.
Yeah, in stock on the shelf.
Yeah.
At JoJo's, they had a tool store in there too. It looked like a U.S. General. You buy micrometers and pry bars and goddamn anything you needed.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
impressive.
Pocket
had a
knives
1 pound
and hand tools and
Yeah, then the restaurant next door in there had a 1 pound. Well, actually, it was a casino next door with a slot, all the slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
And then the restaurant had a 1 pound strip steak with 2 sides for $26.
yep. There,
So that's just not.
Get a stripper for
I-
$26? Is that what I heard?
My parents, we like to go there for Friday night fish fry. It's all you can eat fish fry.
Oh, they go. That's
Nice.
cool. Nice.
Yeah.
we'll
Now
take this.
two exits past that truck stop is Tyler's exit.
Right. Yeah. I can feel
Now-
the vibe.
That restaurant, I forget what they call it now, but it used to be called the Globe. And in that sunken seating section in the middle of the restaurant by the buffet area, upside down on the ceiling, they had an inverted painting of the Eastern Hemisphere, and they had a scale model of a Piper Cub hung upside down from the ceiling, like it was flying over the earth, but you're looking up at it.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. They remodeled it about 10 years ago and got rid of that.
Well, I'll tell you something. We got my buddy Mike with us too. He's in the back.
Hey,
We'll
Mike.
be talking about him.
Mike,
And we get out of the truck, and Mike's talking. Chris and I were in the store. We come back. Mike's talking to this guy at the pump. We found the quintessential pump jockey redneck.
Mike found a friend.
Oh my God. This guy was spouting rhetoric up and down, left and right, just preaching the word of mayhem.
The word of Trump.
Yeah,
Great.
it was pretty cool. Yeah. So we had to stay and talk to him for a while.
Yeah.
I got a picture of him. I'll post it.
In this area, you run into every type of person. And
Yeah.
and the majority of them are good people, man, and just treat you right.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude, I don't even know if he had a truck. I don't know. It was just standing there. So, but it was funny because I noticed on his left forearm, he had a tattoo of the band Stryker, the name Stryker. But the problem was whoever did it didn't scale it out. So the KER were all jammed together close by his wrist because they ran out of room.
Yeah, just freehanded it.
Yeah. Probably jailhouse tattoo.
Well, hey Ray, you're gonna make it home just in time to catch a plane to SEMA.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about SEMA here. About all of that. I know. Crazy.
So, who is going to SEMA? I don't think I'm going to go this year.
Oh, they'll go. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I got to run with the big dogs. The big dogs are there, so I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm just looking
so-
for a
so
coattail to
you're-
ride.
So you're a follower, not a leader?
No, they follow me.
Oh, okay.
We running a pack. You know, the big dogs running big packs.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to be talking to Terry a lot because right in front of the trailer we got a hopped up LS that's going in this car.
Yeah.
Nice.
He said it's built out to about what he said, like 720 horsepower worth. So, yeah, it's going to be.
It's gonna be a nice looking car.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
How much more has to be done to it?
Everything.
It's a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, the body was taken off the frame, body worked and painted, laid back on, but he's got a second frame with it that's got a Corvette suspension in it.
Okay.
And so, it's just a bare shell. It's a total project.
Okay.
So, square one.
Nice.
So how much of that trailer's filled up?
Stem to stern. All
Really?
34 feet.
And the back of the pickup.
And the back of the pickup truck. It's a long bed pickup truck we're in. The bed of the truck is filled. Lots with the leftover stuff, the straps and stuff. But the 34-footer pickup of trailer is filled from the winch to the back door.
Full of boxes of chrome and hinges. That's a truck.
Yeah, right. Because all the small parts are in the truck. Because we got the second chassis, but on the way in, we had to make a little side trip, and we had to pick up a bed for a military. It's a 54 military truck. We had to pick that up first. So now we put that on top of the bare chassis, and then just loaded that up with stuff. So that bed, there's a bed inside the bed filled with stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we put the car in last, and then all the glass went in at the very end because it was all boxed up. Yeah, we're full up.
Wow.
You gotta
If
put
he
in
had the fenders for that 55, I wouldn't have had a place to put them. It would have been tight.
Top of the trailer.
It would have put them on top of the trailer. It would have been tough.
Well, it looks like you guys made good time or made a good trip.
I tell you, for a 2-day turnaround, yeah, we'll be home a little after midnight, and not bad considering. This truck that we're driving is Chris's brother-in-law. Tell him about the truck, Chris.
2024, 2500 HD. Soup to nuts. Just under the, what is it, the AT4? The Z71? I don't know what it is. Whatever model it is. It's brand new. Thing's beautiful. It's got 3,000 miles on it. Well, now it's got 3,800 miles on it. We put 800 plus 2, so we put the 1,600 miles on it.
I was going to say, you guys are going to double the mileage.
Yeah.
This thing just about drives itself.
You really don't even feel the trailer, and you don't even hear the motor.
You're breaking it in.
Power in this thing.
Yeah, breaking it in, right?
It's a nice driving truck.
I'll tell you
Now
what,
the fun part's going to be unloading all that stuff.
Let's not talk about that.
you just unstrap it and hit the gas real fast.
There you go. I like that idea.
So the cool thing is, I think I told you guys about this. What, Brian?
I was going to say, we'll see this about like 2.5 months later. You finally unload the trailer.
I still got to fix my Lincoln, so I'm working on that first.
Yeah.
I think I told you guys about this before when Chris bought this trailer just for this trip, just to pick up this car.
Right.
So now the plan is he's going to park it next to his garage and make a shop out of it.
Okay. Good idea.
It's going to be kind of mobile semi-permanent shop space, storage/shop space.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Put it to good use.
Oh yeah.
But I know we were talking about it last week. This just to reiterate, this Brookwood is a 2-door wagon, not a 4-door wagon. So it is one of the hard ones to find.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's kind of rare, huh?
What did you pick up?
1959 Chevy Brookwood wagon.
59. Okay.
Yeah, 59.
That
Yeah, there you go.
Very cool
We're on
car.
the street, guys. Yeah, that's the front of it. Yeah. So it's got the fins in the back. It's got the horizontal fins,
Yes.
and it's a 2-door.
Does it have a tailgate or does it have a delivery style rear door?
It has a tailgate.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't like a sedan delivery. It was like a regular wagon. And the guy commissioned the build with the LS and an 06 GTO rear end, which Chris got with the project. That's in the bed. That's in the truck, inside the truck bed, inside the trailer. The other truck bed. And, the LS and the 4L60E with it. And, the guy did a lot of stuff because they planned out the build. They already did the body work to cut in the exhaust tips right in front of the rear wheels. So it's going to have like a side exhaust, which is kind of, now he's got to stick with that because the body work is done. But
it'd be a cool look. You can put a lot more work into it.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to find
Is the paint done too?
Yeah, it's painted. Yeah, that's the beauty part of it. The body work and the metal work and the paint was all done.
Yeah, so you just got mechanical and plumbing and electrical, and you're good to go.
Right. Well, all the trim and all of that all has to be, straightened if needed and polished. There's a lot of work there. And the car does have a pretty good amount of trim on it.
Yeah, they loved their trim back then.
Oh, yeah. Gave a set of Boyd Coddington wheels mounted on tires with the deal. I mean, everything he had went with it. The whole spaghetti. Everything went.
Yeah. Funny you said that. I just talked to Joe Coddington earlier today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to hang out at Sema.
Okay. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. Brian, are any of the guys back in the shops by you yet or what?
It's still quiet.
Yeah.
Still real quiet.
Brian's area is in Maryland, outside of D.C., and the shops were empty because no one's spending money. They're afraid of the government shutting down.
When are you flying out, Lewis?
Monday at 4 p.m.
Okay.
So I'll get there about 10.
Let me know right now how it is out there. I'm going out to the F1 on the 16th. I heard it's a real shit show out there with the construction going on.
Yeah.
I was talking to Nelson a couple weeks ago, and he said this should be the one. This should be the big one.
Yeah, because everything's open. They got the new section open.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be gangbusters this year.
Get those walking shoes.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of quiet last year.
It sounds like you're trying to get the hook set on me to say, okay, I'll get in the car and drive out Monday night, and I could be there for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, well, it starts Tuesday.
I understand that. So I could be there Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, I could show up completely unannounced, and I guarantee within 1 hour of me being in Vegas, I could have a passport for me and my wife. Might not have our names on them, or they definitely wouldn't have names on them. But I could have a pass and have us in there.
Yeah. Hey, we'll hang out.
Yep. My flight leaves Pittsburgh at 7 a.m.
Monday?
Yeah. So
I couldn't find it early.
So
I tried to get early.
With the time change, you're getting there at lunchtime.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I wanted to have, like a good half a day on Monday to just kind of hang out and do whatever. The downside is it means I got to leave for the airport at like 4:30 in the morning.
When is Halloween?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So you get to see the parade.
Okay.
Oh
no, I am not going to be in Vegas on Tuesday.
That's the best time to go, especially on Fremont Street.
What's the matter?
Yeah.
You don't like people with less class than you?
I don't know you can have less class than me because those people truly make a spectacle of themselves. They want to be seen.
That's all the fun, though.
Yeah.
Come on, Paul. You might get your freak on.
I can only take so much. I remember being in Santa Cruz, California in the middle of August, and they were acting like it was Halloween. I can just imagine what Vegas is like on Halloween.
Oh, it's different.
It's crazy. One time.
First time I took my wife out, we're coming from the airport. It was nighttime. So we're coming down the strip, and all the people are walking the strip in their costumes. So we see a full-size penis costume walking down the street, and the feet were the testicles. And so when he was walking, they were. That's the first thing my wife's seeing when we get to Vegas.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We just hit the 3-hour mark for getting home.
Oh, yeah, you're halfway in the middle of PA, huh?
Wow.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I hate driving through PA. It sucks.
Yeah, it's long. Yeah, it's better than Nebraska.
Yeah.
And Texas is no joke either.
Yeah. Texas is really the one.
That's no joke.
Texas is its own country.
Yeah.
Texas
I think Route 10 is how long? That's like 20 hours, ain't it?
I want to say 700 miles. Maybe it's 900 miles.
That's one road?
Yeah.
One
Across
road.
Texas.
From Houston to El Paso. I want to say it's 790.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we added a bumper sticker to the sticker collection.
Looking good.
We got the wrenching for the future. I don't know if y'all can see it. The wrenching for the future sticker up on there now. That came today.
You got the hammerjack one. What?
Oh, you've never seen that before?
Oh, I've seen that. I've lived it.
That's a 1980s. That's a late 80s Howard Street Hammerjacks bumper sticker.
Yeah. I got mine. I don't know. Mine's mid 80s. It's buried over here in the corner, but Hammerjacks. It's a national landmark sticker there.
Hey, Papa Squirrel, I'm going to order some. When I get back from SEMA, I'm going to order some more
I found
stickers.
the Boot Hill Saloon sticker, and stuck to the Boot Hill Saloon sticker was the Hammerjack sticker. Or the Hammerjack sticker, the two of those two stickers were stuck together. And I found them together. I know for a fact Boot Hill Saloon was like March of 1990. March or April 1990. And the Hammerjack sticker with it, so it would have been 89 or 90 from probably a Kicks show at Hammerjacks.
Yep. Probably.
So,
hey Ray, thanks for running the show last week. I was sick as a dog.
No problem. That's always my pleasure. So what you got to do for me now is, Lewis and Tyler, I was trying to explain to Chris the plans you guys are doing. Lewis, with you with the bus, and Tyler, you with your motorhome, with the mobile aspect of it, about being on the road and doing work, and the mobile shop idea. So expand on that a little bit more, so Chris can get it right from the horse's mouth.
Go ahead, Tyler. You start.
So basically, Lewis got me hooked on this whole bus life idea. And I've said for the last 10 years, the biggest regret of purchase of my life was my house, because it's done is cost me money.
Right.
But my plan is I have a 45-foot motor coach. It used to be a 56-passenger over-the-road coach, and it's getting converted into a luxury RV with enough storage space and electrical generating power to completely run my whole shop. So I'll have my fabrication tools with me on the road, plasma cutter, tubing bender, the whole 9 yards. And on my bucket list is to go out with a trailer full of engine parts, suspension parts, and tubing, and build a car to drive on the salt flats while camped out there.
I like that.
Yep, nice.
And then there's the school bus
Texas
guy.
Your way. You can stop here on your way.
On my end, I bought a 38-foot Bluebird International school bus, and thanks to a lot of good people in the community and out of our community came in and cut my roof off, and we lifted it 18 inches and welded it back up, and now we're going to build it to go full time. Me and my wife are going to live in it full time.
So, Lewis, the reason you raised it 18 inches is why?
I'm 6'5", and it was 6'1". Inside.
All right, listen. I'm sitting next to a guy right now who's 6'9".
Yeah.
So I know your pain.
Right. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we look great walking down the street together.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Butt and Jeff for sure.
I hang on to his belt.
Even shorter people still lift their bus roofs, because it gives you more space and makes it a little more open.
And that job was done in a weekend. I was trying to explain to Chris how that was all done in a weekend, and there was about 10 guys, I think, on the job.
I think total 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Mr. Paul came in and helped us. He was supervisor. We had Arco and
Not supervisor. I was labor.
We had a crew come in from all over the place. They came from Idaho, Minnesota, DC, where else? Detroit.
Yeah.
And
a couple places around Ohio.
Yeah, a couple places around Ohio. Tyler opened up his garage for us, and we almost didn't get it in, but we got it in and took the saws to it.
These
guys weren't playing around.
So, Lewis, is your idea to still do the work out of your bus, or you're gonna have a trailer stuff in it?
I'm gonna pull a pickup truck with a service truck with the toolbox.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna put the motorcycle on the back of that, and then put all my leather supplies inside the toolboxes.
Got it.
I'm gonna pull it behind the truck or behind the bus.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's what I'd like to do as well. I'd like to have like a 32-foot stacker, so I could take a race car or project car and a daily driver with me wherever I go. And then I want to have I'd like to have a lathe with me and some other tools that you can't just access easily on the road.
Right.
You just want to make sure you're not over DOT limit there pulling all that stuff.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, well.
So Ohio is 65 feet total combined length. Texas is 65. Montana is 85. Wyoming. So if I get a PO box in Wyoming and register there, they have no specified combined unit length, only individual unit length limits. But because it'll also be my private residence. It'll be commercial, not for hire. So I won't run a DOT number or anything like that. It'll be a private RV.
Yeah, I know, but you'll still get that one cowboy. Don't worry.
Maybe. I was talking to a guy who he has a 38-foot school bus, and he tows a 45-foot trailer full of side-by-sides and snowmobiles and stuff all the time. and he ranges all through like Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, all over the northern half of the states. And he goes, he chases the snow, you know. And I had messaged him. I said, "How long you been on the road, and have you ever been messed with?" And he said he's been hauling the rig for like 6 years. He's never been pulled over.
Right.
All right, so diesel guys, we saw at the station today a sign that said there was pumps for like the exempt status. What does that
for
mean?
farm equipment. That's farm equipment.
Yeah, that's
Really?
off-road use.
Yeah, they don't pay road tax. Off-road.
Oh, okay.
And it's a different color. Don't get caught with it.
Don't get caught with it.
DOT will put it in you.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's like home heating. It's like the same color as home heating oil.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It's got a red tint.
Green dye.
Yeah. So, Lewis, you're going to grow mushrooms on the roof so you can make some of that cool interior stuff out of mushrooms?
I don't know if I'm going that far.
You're not doing mushroom leather?
Yeah. Now I might do a trailer later on, but we're gonna pull the vehicle behind so we could try, bounce around wherever we're at. But sooner or later, I'll probably end up with a trailer after we do some traveling first.
So this is what we're talking about on Thursday nights.
That worked.
That and then some.
Yep. So Sema's going to be popping pretty good. I've been talking to a couple people that are going to meet us out there. The Nelson.
Nelson's a talking bird guy.
Yeah. The how would you say it? The Boss Hog crew.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be about 20 deep. About 20 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, we all meet at his booth and branch out from there.
Which
Right. Exactly.
What'd you say?
Whose booth are you meeting at?
Boss Hog torque converters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll see.
I've heard of them.
We'll see Debbie and Papa Squirrel. They're troopers. They're everywhere.
Okay.
So they'll be there.
Ed Beard's going to be there.
Oh, that's Papa Squirrel.
There
There he goes.
he goes.
There he is. There he was.
He was on, didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Ed is doing some kind of event. So I'm gonna try to go there as soon as I get into town.
Ed Beard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going straight to there or to the hotel first, but
Where are you staying, Lewis?
same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not doing the Airbnb thing this time?
No, the ones I found were too far away because if Trace wants to, go back to the room,
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far. So that place that we picked up before was really nice, but man, it was costing me $20 a Uber.
Yeah.
Adds up quick.
Wow.
And they had a shuttle, but the shuttle didn't leave till 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
I want to say it was about 10 years ago. It would have been 2014, 2015. I stayed out at Red Rock Canyon, Red Rock Resort, just outside of Vegas. And they had a shuttle that went to the strip. So all you had to do is get the shuttle to the strip and then jump on one of the shuttles to get you from the, Circus or walk the 3 blocks from Circus over. And that was pretty cool to stay out of downtown Vegas if you don't like, the headache of downtown Vegas.
Now, from Circus, you only have to walk 1 block now because Tesla has the tunnels. You walk 1 block, get in the Tesla, and you go up under the tunnels. That brings you out to whatever building you want to go to. Pretty slick.
Are they still using the monorail through there or no?
Yeah. But Tesla's blowing it out of the water, man. You come out right at the door of each building. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I guess they're going to do the whole strip.
So what you say about the F1 thing, Chris, with the hotels, how screwed up that is?
Oh man, so they're shutting everything down at like 4 o'clock. There's no cars, no traffic, no nothing. You can't get to your hotel. You got to cross the bridge.
Yeah.
They're talking just to go from one corner to the other is going to take you about an hour. So I was on the phone with that one from London, and I was hooked up with the guy at the old Hard Rock, so Virgin, the VP over there. He was telling me, it's like wherever your seats are, stay in that hotel. You don't want to be doing any of this bullshit. Once the race is over or on, it doesn't matter. Yep. It's going to be a nightmare. Everybody else lives there said it's crazy right now.
Yeah, last year they did a test run the last day we were there, and they shut down the strip, and it was a mess. It took us so long to get to the airport. It was terrible.
I believe that.
It might be real crazy this year because F1's having their race in Vegas the week after.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
They have
that's what he's going.
NHRA and NASCAR is all within the whole time period too, in between.
And the Cowboy Nationals, the bull ride.
That's right.
The
like 2 weeks later, I think.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like
they keep that place popping, don't they?
Oh,
yeah, it's like a solid 4 or 5 weeks of activity.
Oh, and the lowrider shows pops in there too.
Oh, nice!
Cramming everything in to make up. They're cramming everything in there to make up.
Yep.
Wow. Lowrider show would be cool. That'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
You know what?
That Brooklyn would look good on bags.
Yeah.
It hurts me every year because they're pulling in. They usually come in right after SEMA that week, so they're pulling in, and I'm seeing them on the strip, and I'm leaving. I can't even go see them.
You gotta stay an extra day or two.
Yeah, well, maybe next year because next year I'll be retired and I'll be in the bus. So
yeah, there you go.
That might be
don't let me forget. I want to ask if the RV parking at Circus is just for circus performers or if they just rent spots out.
No, I think they rent spots.
That'd be the place to stay, probably.
Yeah. There's a lot of RV parks around there, all through there. If when you're on the monorail, you can see a lot of different parks that you don't see when you're on the strip.
This year, I want to try and carve out a little bit of time and go do something at the Sphere because it's open now.
Good luck. A lot of money, man.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of money just to get into the place.
Really?
They were talking over 100 something getting in.
Yeah.
Wow. Just to get in.
Yeah, I mean the place. Everybody was talking. Parking was like $150, and valet's like almost $200. And they
Uber's
were talking
20.
About,
Uber's 20.
Yeah, well, and they were talking YouTube. Is that? I'm not YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. They're $1,000 tickets to go in to see the show. I mean, all kinds of crazy. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
They got to pay for that place in 1 year, I guess, huh?
I guess so.
Well, you got to figure there's like $80 million worth of just LED screens in there. So.
Whoa.
8 million.
Have you seen the video about it?
Yeah.
Like if you're up in the sky looking at it, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
It's a really cool concept.
Where's it at? Do you know?
It's right off the strip. You go literally right by it on the train.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's for the big
So,
ballers.
tell us about what we missed. Tell us what we missed at Summit.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their showroom isn't real big, but the building is massive. I think he told me it was 4. Like we went in the back where they have the racks and stuff, and it
Yeah.
was I think he said 4 football fields long and wide and high.
Look here.
Yeah.
When you're standing inside, the racks are so high up, the top rack you can't see it.
Wow.
And there's no pallets. They pick it. Like they got these little scooter things, and it has a lift that lifts the person up, and he grabs the box off.
Yeah.
It's pretty slick.
That's cool.
Yep, it's amazing, man, how they got it set up. And you know, I was on LinkedIn, you know, doing the business end of stuff, and so
Yeah.
I'm looking at a lot of their employees, and a lot of their employees have been there for 20 and 30 years.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of them. So
Doing
that
something
tells
right.
what kind of company they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
But they got everything there. I mean, you go there, it's there.
So I guess there's no price discount or anything by going to the store. It's the same as catalog, right?
Yeah, but they do have return section and what do you call it, clearance section.
Yeah, scratch and dent, open
Oh,
box
okay.
stuff.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of nice stuff over there.
Be rooting through that for my coilovers.
Yeah, you would have walked out with them because they're there. From
Tyler,
all
have you ever
companies.
used the Viking brand of coilover?
Yeah,
I know a couple
so
guys who've used it.
Yeah, the car sitting in my shop right now has Viking double adjustables on all 4 corners.
Okay.
I'm either going with
Anything to
Viking
say about
or I'm either going to go with Viking or Penske on my race car.
Okay. That's a good endorsement.
Yeah, but I think Viking's one of the top 2 or 3 in coilovers for sure.
Okay. Who would be the others? QA1 and
Yeah, QA1, and then Penske has a really good reputation in the drag racing community for sure.
right. Okay. Good
Yeah,
to know.
if you'd have stopped, we could have gave you some of Terry's QA ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Got a whole pallet full of QA1 stuff sitting here for Terry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm gonna hook Chris up with Terry. We actually did, but we came back from when we landed in February. I called Terry, and we were talking. I was telling him about the project, and he was gonna, help Chris out with advice and whatever. So I'm gonna get him involved with, just for wiring and computer stuff and whatnot. So he'd be happy to help. So,
Yeah, he should be on in a little bit. I talked to him a little bit ago.
he's coming in? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be here in a minute.
I talked to him yesterday. I gave him a call. What did I had to ask him something. I forget what it was. I don't know, but he answered me.
Getting old.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, that's a whole road trip ago. So it was actually, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. Right. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys should go to PRI in Indianapolis.
Yeah. That's something I'd love to see is the PRI show. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same drive as you just did.
Yep.
Yeah.
You might be able to hitch a ride with Terry, depending, because he might come out a couple days, like 2 days before PRI, stay here, work on the CUDA, and then ride with us to PRI.
Okay.
It's worth talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
For parts, that's the place to go for sure.
Yeah. Well, we need another seat in the car, a seat opening the car in an entry, an entry pass.
Oh, we get you. We got a guy for that.
Got a guy for that.
I might have to start using the guy because, man, every year they put me through the ringers to get my own pass.
Right. Yeah.
It must be because you're going as media instead of a buyer. Because they, as long as I paid my $40 per person, they don't care. They don't ask any questions.
Yeah, they put me through a ringer, boy. But they treat me okay when I get there because I go into the place to get my passes, and they treat me all right once I get there. But man, I had to jump through hoops to get my first one.
That's discrimination.
So, to get your media pass, do you have to go to the same place as, I guess it's the vendor pass or the display pass?
No.
Where it's a whole different line in a different building?
Yeah, whole different place. They got a media area where we can go use the computers, and they have coffee and donuts and food. You know, we're a little more special than the average Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done stuff.
The whole line to get where you'd normally go for a buyer's pass to pick up my pass, and I get over there, and the lady's like, no. I said, are you sure? Check and see, blah, blah, blah. Oh, sir, you're supposed to be in the other building over there. And I'm like, I go over there, and all of a sudden, you are treated like a king before you ever get your pass.
Yeah, I had done a couple of shows like the auto show and the motorcycle shows at the Javits Center, and I always had a media pass, and it was the same thing. It was a different line. It was a lot shorter than the regular line. And they actually had the media day, which was before the show opened. Yep. So you got to see everything and do interviews if you wanted to, and before the public came in.
So yeah, SEMA is Monday, the media day.
Right.
Then they have a media event at night too that they have a couple days before.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question. I got invited to a upscale birthday party, and it said on the thing, cocktail attire. What's that supposed to mean?
Don't go dressed as a shrimp.
From a rooster.
Don't go dressed as a shrimp.
Bring tail feathers from a rooster.
Yeah, it's almost casual. I mean, it's not casual, but it's not.
Yeah, so I guess like an open collared shirt, not a tie, and a jacket.
Yeah, like slacks and a polo, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Got to go into the city for this one. This is in the Grand Central, like upstairs.
Don't go.
Oh, you going? They're letting you upstairs. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, not for me.
Go naked, Ray. Go naked. You're going to get lucky.
Yeah, there you go. That's always Brian's answer, by the way.
Listen, if they don't like it, they're discriminating against you.
That's right.
Exactly.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
show up wearing your Kiss T-shirt. Don't worry.
So Ray, I'm gonna send you pictures like every couple of hours because it make you feel bad that you didn't go.
Yeah. I know.
It ain't too late.
So next Thursday, where you going to be? Are you going to be on the show? You going to do the show next Thursday?
I actually will be on the plane.
You'll be back on the plane.
Yeah, so I guess I'll be doing it again.
Yeah. Wait, let me see what time. Hold on.
Yeah, my flight's late. I don't leave Vegas till 4 p.m.
Yeah, me too.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think I get back.
No, you got backup.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you.
No problem.
I usually would do the show from out there, but
yeah,
I'll be in the mix.
So
I'll be in the mix.
Chris came in last week. I tried getting Kenny Wessel, wrenching with Kenny at the last minute, but he had a hospital emergency with his grandson, So Chris jumped in with us for a while and dipped his toes in the. You know, he hears us talking about the fun every week on Sunday, so he finally got his toes wet and jumped in the pool.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching.
Yeah, so that was,
I was under the covers with stuff stuck in my head.
Right.
Man, I just got into the doctor's yesterday, and they gave me an antibiotic and I got pink eye too. So they gave me stuff from my man. I went downhill, man, from Monday to now.
Wow.
You're all messed up, man.
Yeah, man. I'm a cyclops. Look, I got a red eye somewhere. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told my wife I don't think I'm gonna make it, but I made it.
Good. Yeah, you gotta pull through.
You've been looking in all the wrong places, Lewis.
Something.
A man of your talent, charms, and good looks, you know better looking in that wrong hole.
Yeah. That's what happened. I usually don't get full blown sick, man, but man, I've been sick since last Thursday. Yeah, I went home from work last Thursday.
You need to get the shot. They'll take care of all your problems. Stand in line.
Yeah.
Yes,
Stand in line.
I ain't messing with that stuff.
Listen, about 3 more years, I'm going to be able to charge a premium for my sperm donations because I'm unvaccinated.
Yep.
Wow, I never thought of that. Got a point. You know, that's the good thing about men is, you produce pretty much up to the time you die. So, hey, my genes are my genes.
Yeah, you need a couple extra bucks. You never know.
I was thinking more than likely they'd pay me more to not breed.
How do you take that as a compliment? Like, even while they're paying you, how do you like that?
Money in is money in.
So the Ring brothers reached out to me, Nancy, Mike's wife, reached out to me to see if we were going to SEMA. And she said that he loved coming on this show, and so I told him, I was like, your family, come on anytime. So he's gonna jump back in here and there.
Sure. So what was the fella? I forget his name all the time. We just had him on a couple of weeks ago, and he was on a few months ago. The guy who's up by Terry that does the upholstery, the mushroom guy.
Oh, Gil.
Right, Gil. And what's the name? Remember the name of the shop?
GCD.
GCD, yeah. All right.
Maybe
going to talk to him about some Brookwood interior.
Oh, yeah? I'll tell you what, man, his guys, they are no joke, man. They are really good.
Yeah.
You got to follow them on Instagram because they put a lot of videos on Instagram.
Right. I mean, he's, in striking distance of us, so it's, we'll probably be seeing Terry one of these days anyway, so might as well just bundle the trip.
Okay, Gillen, wait a minute. GCD, yeah, upholsteries.
GCD upholstery,
Yeah, those guys are no joke, man. All of them, they're pretty good. I learn something every time I watch one of their videos, like a little trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Next time I go up to see Terry, I'm gonna go up to see his shop too.
Yeah, I know he's not far from Terry.
Right.
I think I've heard he was in Orange County. I think he was something like that.
I'm not sure.
Or maybe he's in Orangeburg. Yeah, something like that. We'll find him. So Brian, how's the Halloween promotion going?
So.
Bust my pumpkins.
Smash my pumpkins, yeah.
Smash my pumpkins.
Just can't. I mean, like I said, I'm trying everything to get those guys to try to open the wallet up, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
When there's no work, it's really. I mean, I had what was it Tuesday? I mean, it was my biggest day, and the only reason why is I filled my shopping cart up and dragged half the truck into the shop. If I can't get them out to the truck, I took it to the truck to the shop.
Wow.
So
You got to get a golf cart. You load the golf cart in the back of the truck, and you just drive around in that with the tools in it.
yeah, well, I got my steps in for sure on Tuesday because I loaded that shopping cart up, and everybody was like, "What's that?" And I said, "Hey, if you ain't gonna come to the truck's gonna come to you."
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I did pretty good. I mean, I did a little over $3,000 in sales out of the cart. So,
Okay.
hopefully, I can just get the payments all to go through when they're supposed to.
Right. So
yeah, it was
All
crazy.
right, I think I'm gonna call it a night.
All right, Paul.
Go get your chickens,
All right,
Paul.
Paul.
All right, I already did the
Yeah.
chicken. Everyone
Chickens
who's
away.
safe trip, and talk next week.
That's
All right,
it.
sounds good.
Right.
Take care, Paul.
See it. Yeah.
So, if you guys have anything special for me to go look at, or you want me to go search out, let me know. Be on a mission to
Anything special
take
for
pictures.
Bill?
I can think of right now.
Yeah.
So the Ring Brothers are taking 3 vehicles out there, so I'm gonna go cover all 3 of those. That's on the list.
Yeah, I
I
saw
remember how
them
you-
unveil one of them.
What'd you say?
I saw them unveil one of them today.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can spend less than a week on any one of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you kind of gotta pick stuff out there because it's so much. I mean, it's crazy, and everything is top notch. It's not, you don't see no junk in there.
I saw that stuff up at the Syracuse Nationals, and I tell you, man, I could have looked at that car for 3 days straight and still seen something different every time I looked at it.
Yeah.
That was the Camaro they built a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they're no
Beautiful.
joke, man.
No, not at all.
And the
I mean,
nicest
it's the
guys.
subtle stuff. It's the subtle stuff they do. Like,
Yeah.
removing trip rail moldings, flush mounting the windows, all those little touches that you see, but you don't see.
Well, I like their fabricating like exhaust tips or the ring around the tail lights. Just little stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's always a ton of stuff to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward. I was real glad or happy that she reached out. Said, "Oh man, you gotta come see us." So that'd be on the plan.
Right. Excellent. Anybody else lined up out there?
Joe Connington, she's doing a couple of appearances, so I'm gonna stop and see her.
Okay.
Probably hang out with her and her people. Greg's Speed Shop. He'll be with her, so we'll probably, do some stuff with them. Just jump around.
All right. Is Ed going to be out there this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's got a couple cars that's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Hey, Coach.
Hey, guys.
It's our favorite Polish Mexican. Isaac, I was telling my buddy Chris all about you today, so you better live up to your reputation. Be good.
I don't know which way to go with that.
I know, because you go a lot of different ways.
Well, with the video I sent you, that's the mood I've been in.
Oh yeah.
That clip from that movie.
Right.
Yeah, this was my first week in my classroom, and and everything.
Yeah,
And
you have a lot of responsibility now.
yeah, I've had to lay the law down.
Okay.
We're gonna have to start calling you Teach Isaac.
Yeah.
Call you Teach.
Yeah. How I really would like to be able to do it, but you know, we're not allowed to no more, is basically like the boot camp beginning of Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Major Pain.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, that was good.
Break
But
up
no,
finger.
I'd like to go straight to Full Metal Jacket, stomping guts and stuff.
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
Yeah.
There you go. Have those little kids marching up and down the hallways with broomsticks.
Well, the funny thing is, I sent a clip to my football players because I told them, I said, I don't want to see you in my class, in my room. But I sent a clip from Full Metal Jacket, but it was just the one part where he turns and he gets in that guy's face and he goes, "I'll be watching you."
Yeah. Right. What's your major malfunction?
Yeah.
So many good clips from that movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna jump ship because I gotta go take some medicine, so my throat don't catch up with my head.
Okay.
And I will be posting a whole bunch of stuff live from SEMA. I got a couple interviews I'm gonna go live with, I think. So keep an eye out all week.
Definitely.
Excellent. Very good.
And Papa Squirrel, wait, he left, huh? He's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, him and Debbie are troopers, man. They're out there every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look forward to seeing them. You know, if anybody's in the YouTube channel or Facebook, if you're going to SEMA, please reach out to us and let us know where you're at, and we'll come eat some of your fries. All right,
There you
folks. Have
go.
a safe week.
Take care, Louis.
All right, Louis.
Yeah, feel better.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to bail too because I got to get up a little more.
Early.
Take care, Jim.
Take care,
Okay,
guys.
Jim. Take care.
Right.
Take it easy.
All right, Jim.
Oh, you left us live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Well, it's still live. Okay. So, yeah, before he was at least cutting it off. And then
Yeah. Ray got cut off.
Yeah,
Where did
yeah.
they go?
So this means when Lewis gets up about a quarter to one to take his pee walk break, he's gonna say, "What the hell's going on? They're still alive. The thing's gonna run."
Yeah,
nobody's there to turn it off.
I was gonna say now no one can turn it off. Oh, we're probably gonna get booted in like 10 minutes.
No,
we even when we go when we cut the live, we can stay on there for quite a while. I mean,
yeah,
me and
until after midnight.
Without
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
Ray, without
Oh, without either host.
Yep.
It was about a month ago.
Oh, here comes Lewis to end the live.
Hey, just keep your clothes on, all right?
But he didn't let Ray back in. So
yeah, well, that's right. Yeah,
Ray may not be able to get back in. I don't know. Depends on how it's set up.
Because I don't have any. I don't have any. I mean, I don't have any controls.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, we don't.
But
yeah, because you got to log in. Huh?
He might be able to get right back in. I'm not sure.
Well, gosh, it's been more than a couple months. It was probably back in March, wasn't it? When me and Brian stayed on for almost the full time of the after show, and we were offline. We weren't live.
Yeah,
and we sat there talking the whole time.
Yeah, because he's done that before, where he's turned on. Because he says the next day when he has to try to edit or go through, he says that it's this on and on and on and on,
right?
And
So what class are you teaching, Isaac?
I'm the in-school suspension monitor.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Here's the irony. I put it on my Facebook. I said I spent so much time growing up trying to ditch or sleep in so I wouldn't have to go to school, and now I got to get up early to go to school. And there I had a somewhat of a career going to ISS to in-school suspension myself. So I know it from both sides now.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works out.
Yeah,
you spend all that time
irony.
trying to run from it, and now you live in there. I mean,
yeah. No, but the good thing, and all joking aside, I've had a couple of kids there that they came in trying to test the water. They are not involved with sports, so they never seen me, and trying to flex and whatnot. And but I was able to set the tone and have a little bit of a one-on-one with them as far as thinking about their decisions, taking accountability, and trying to make better decisions. We'll see as the weeks go on. But, I had a couple of them also write a letter of apology as to what happened and whatnot. So.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny how things make a full circle.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And the bottom line for me is I don't believe, now there might be that one exception to the rule, but overall, I don't believe any of these kids are bad deep down. They have bad situation, bad environment around them. Everything is more so reactionary. And I think if we look back to ourselves, and then when you're in your teenage years, you're trying to navigate and figure things out yourself. Like we're right when you're going through puberty, everything's changing. And so you're trying to figure out whether you're coming or going to begin with. So that's what, these kids are going through that to begin with. And then you add any type of environmental issues. And some of those environmental issues just may be, they're not really a bad environment, but the kid thinks it's bad. And it's just a matter of navigating that. And again, I don't think any of these kids are deep down bad. And with that said, there may be that one exception to the rule, but I think that's very minute that you get that one exception. It's just that a lot of these kids have a facade.
Right.
And it's just a matter of cracking it or getting through and
Well, it's, like you said, they're looking for attention or whatever. I mean, it's, Brianna, she has that's a huge issue with her classroom. Mm-hmm. And these, and like I said, and it's funny because they're not really funny, but it's just by the time they come in and you work with them and you get them all calmed down or get them where they're not acting up or whatever, they got to get back on. They go right back. It's just, it's not long enough. And you're like, it's not that bad of a kid or that big of an issue. But by the time you get them all in the right direction, they're back on the bus or they're being picked up and they're going back into that environment or that situation. Yeah. And that's like one of the biggest things about the summer, you get them halfway on the right track and then here you go. You lose them for the 4 months or the 3 months and it's starting all over again.
Well, and
it's got to be really frustrating and difficult. I mean, for one thing,
that's one of the reasons I try to, if I can, this is only my first official week in there. As far as now, it's the same school I coach at, so that's a major plus. But the thing is that it's only my first week, but some of these kids I've already talked to about, hey, why don't you get into sports? Why don't you? It's a way to get burn off that energy and
Right.
But if I can get them in sports, or even if it's not sports, if I can get them into the band class or something,
yeah,
it's doing something extra, and that's that extra time they might be at school with another coach or with me or whatever. And even in the summer, I've been trying to put together summer camps, and again, it's extra time that you can motivate them and show them something different. And that's where I think the after school stuff, if you can get them involved, is beneficial, above and beyond the sports. I mean, I'll be the first to say, as a coach, I hate losing. I love to win. Any coach that says they don't care if they lose is a liar or they're nuts. But above and beyond winning and losing, I'm also more focused on the success of that kid. So at the end of the day, the game is the game. But if I can run into that kid down the road and they've done something good, then that's my win and loss. That's my record, as far as that I count personally for myself, that this kid's on the right path. And in fact, like some of the Thursdays that I've missed, in the last couple of weeks, I've been over at the junior varsity high school game to support the kids that have played for me.
Yeah.
And I almost make every home game during football season on Friday nights. And then when football's over and it's soccer or baseball, I try to make at least, one, if not a couple games for those kids. And just to stay involved and see them. In fact, I'll tell you, speaking of a success story, it was the beginning of this football season on a Friday night. I went up and was sitting in the stands, and as the game was getting towards the end, this girl, I was moving around to go sit with somebody, and this girl was sitting there, and she looked up and she said, "Hey, coach, you don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "I recognize you. You played for me." I said, "I can't remember your name. I'm sorry." I said, "How many of you come through me in a season, and you got to remember one of me, and I got to remember how many of you, and then how many years has it been?"
Yeah.
And I said, so I said, "Please don't take offense or anything." I said, "I don't remember your name, but I do recognize you. I remember you." And I said, and she said her name, and I said, "So how have you been?" I said, "You're a senior now, right?" I said, "How's your grades? You're getting ready to graduate this year?" And she goes, "Coach, I've already graduated." She's like, I'm at the university." And I said, "Oh, wow, you are." I said, you took it further. You're beyond high school. You've got a plan." And she goes, "Oh, yeah." And she was telling me what she wants to go, what she's studying for and what she's hoping for. And she turned around and she goes, "Coach, one thing that has never left me, and it means a lot to me, that you taught." She said, "When we would warm up, you would point and have us face the different mountain ranges, and you would mention the mountain range, and you wanted us to learn our directions. And then you wanted us to pay attention and know our street signs. And you would always say, 'Why is it important?' And you would say, if you get attacked, kidnapped, or if you break down or you're lost, if you find a payphone or find a phone and you call the police or you call for help and you say, 'Well, I can see this mountain or I'm on this street, but I don't know where I'm at,' no, help's not coming. They can't come because they can't find you. So it's important to know your surroundings, know your area, your location, watch your surroundings to stay out of trouble and spot danger." And she said, "Coach, I remember that." She goes, "When I'm at the university and my class is in the evening and I've got to walk to my car," she goes, "I know every road. I know the name of every road. I know which is north, south, west, east. She goes, I know all of that. And she goes, that stuck with me ever since soccer, ever since 8th grade. And again, along with the fact that she's going to the university, but she also remembered those little tips to keep her safe. That's where I count my wins and losses.
Oh yeah.
You know? So.
That's I mean, that means a lot, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that's good. So yeah, it's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can never be too careful in the world these days either.
Oh, I know.
No, and it doesn't, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, of course, the bigger the city, the more potential for danger I feel, but the more I won't go political. The more to one party, the more dangerous it is. Pick your party, I don't care. Well, that's as far as I'll go with that. But you know, realistically, danger can be in a small town too.
Oh yeah.
Danger can be out in the middle of nowhere. Danger can be in the backwoods. And, you know, the more that we teach our own children or teach the people, even adults that we come in contact with that have not had that exposure to learn, you know, the safer we can make people by being aware, watching your surroundings. Too many people are actually, even adults that are walking down the street facing their phone, and they wouldn't see anything coming up from a mile away. They wouldn't see it.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't pay no attention. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I used to ride a motorcycle back in the day with a buddy of mine, and I couldn't even imagine being on a bike today. I mean, back in the day, I kicked in a few fenders because people driving up on you or being stupid. Boy, I tell you one thing, I would be like Mad Max with the bar with the nails in it or something, because there's just no, I couldn't even imagine today.
Every time I'm out riding, I kind of just chant in the back of my head, I'm invisible and they can't see me.
Yeah. And I mean, I mean, compared to the traffic in my area, you know.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even consider a motorcycle out in your area.
I mean, it's like I said, I see people and it's like, and I got a couple customers, they'll ask, you know, about, and I said, oh yeah, I used to ride or whatever. And they said, oh, you want to go for a ride? I said, you couldn't even pay me enough money to do it today. Because nobody pays any attention on that.
Well, hell, I'm sure people damn near hit your truck. If they can't see your truck because they're out in La La Land, they ain't gonna see a motorcycle.
Oh yeah. Well, I've had people. I've had my truck hit many a times, and the first thing they said, I didn't see it, and I said, how in the world? I mean, you can't see it. Right. I mean, hell, between even not seeing it or not even being able to hear it. I mean, the thing's running. I mean, like I said, it idles all day, and it's out there. So it's it's crazy on that, but I don't know. So what kind of projects you got going on, Tyler? Anything in that and yours other than Terry taking up all your space?
Yeah, about 1/3 of my floor space is all Terry's stuff.
You charging him rent, right?
I'm charging him favors. So right now I still got that LS swap Beamer in here. I'm working on slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I got the first car I ever built when I opened the shop is in here right now with an electrical issue. And I'm going back and I'm shaking my head at stuff that I did on it, 6-7 years ago that I never would have thought was adequate now. Just stupid little electrical stuff, like where I mounted something that, it's getting dripped on when he washes his car, right. Stuff like that. And let's see, I got the floor all ripped out of the bus the last week. So the floor is completely gone and ready to lay new flooring down as soon as I get my spray foam installed. So,
wow, they Yeah, I was hoping Terry would make it on because I stopped in the middle of his live broadcast when I told him if he put a Coyote in his, I'd put an LS in my Mustang, and he did the old double take. He was like, "What? Wait, you know, you better watch what you say." So
right,
I gave him threw him for a loop. I have a customer that has I don't know what BMW it is. It's a 3 Series. I guess it's a 3 Series, but he's putting an LS in it right now too. And he's got he was just mounting when I was over there Wednesday. He was getting the exhaust pipes. He has the headers that run backwards to put the turbos up front.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and everything. It was pretty interesting. I got one guy with a BMW and a Volvo. They do a lot of the old 5.0 Ford, the 302s. And
that was those swaps were real big right around the turn of the century, before the LS became super common.
Yeah. And I got another buddy that has a Volvo with a 5.0 in it, twin turbo thing. And it's kind of funny when you hear it. You're like, well, that sounds like a Fox body and a Volvo drives by. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of throws the old eye off there.
Because
you're looking for one thing and you're looking for one thing and something else drives by. So,
right.
And I had there was a guy that I was talking to. He had a it was a Miata. Was it a Miata? What's the two-seater Toyota thing? MR2?
MR2 or the BRZ?
Maybe it was a BRZ.
The BRZ is the one
that was a
like
collab. It was a collab between Subaru and Toyota. So there's the Subaru version. That's the BRZ. There's the Toyota version, which is the
FRS.
Yep. And then they had the Scion version for like 1 or 2 years before Scion got axed.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think that's the one that it is, because I know it's not an MR2.
But MR2s are old. They haven't made those forever.
This was a newer version or a newer two-seater thing. And it was kind of interesting because he had an LS in it, but he was running a transmission from a Slingshot.
Really?
And he said that Slingshot transmission had something like 1,400 foot-pounds of torque on it or something. I mean, that's how strong it was, and that was one of the big things, because you didn't have to cut the
firewall.
You'd have to cut the floor all up because it's a small transmission.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. When he said that it was a sling. I think it was a Slingshot or a Polaris. One of those two. Crazy. I can't remember, but I was hoping. He came up, it was a couple weeks ago, I guess it was before Ocean City. So that was the week before. So that was like 3 weeks ago. And I hadn't seen him because I really wanted to try to take a picture or try to climb underneath to take a look, because I just thought it was kind of weird with that type of combination. But he says, there was a couple other guys, and they say it's really big because it's a strong transmission. I mean, it takes a lot of foot-pounds, and you wouldn't think that, but
I definitely wouldn't have thought that.
So it's I don't know how people come up with all that stuff.
Yeah,
I seen one of those here at the Cars and Coffee that had an LS swapped into it, but I don't know what transmission.
Yeah.
And then I seen one of those. There's the Pontiac Solstice and the Saturn Sky, and I think it was a Sky, but the guy had he was an airman from the air base, and he did the swap himself. He put a LS in it. And, he did it. It wasn't the prettiest swap, but I mean, he admitted, he's like, I do this whenever I have free time and I don't know much of what I'm doing. And I've done it myself, a little bit of help from some buddies, but I gave him credit, hey, don't knock yourself. You learn.
Right.
Your skills will improve just by doing. They're not going to improve by you sitting on the sideline not doing nothing and having somebody do it for you.
Right.
And he did have a real weird situation. He drove to the Cars and Coffee the one time, and when he went to start it up to leave, it would crank, it would start to fire up, it would backfire out the throttle body, and then nothing. And he couldn't get it started. And he was telling me, he says it does it every once in a while. He can fire it up from his house when it's cold, drive it out, a couple miles, turn it off, go in the store or whatever. Or in this situation, go to Cars and Coffee. And then when he goes to fire it up to go home, it won't start. And, I asked him a few questions. I gave him my email. I told him to watch the show. And I said, if you want some questions. Well, what it ended up being, I asked him, it was a bad, if I remember correctly, it was a bad cam sensor, or it was the cam position sensor. It was one of the sensors that it was basically the timing sensor.
Yep. Yeah, the cam, it references the cam and the crank sensor.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it doesn't know where it is, it'll never start.
But the weirdest thing is he said, he'd fire it up in the morning and get a couple miles, but then that's when it would act up.
Probably a heat soak issue.
When the sensor's heat in them.
When the sensor's getting hot, then it's acting up.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. He did fix it then?
Yeah, last time I saw him. So that was back in, I want to say, March. And then I saw him a few months later, probably June. And I said, hey, you got it fixed. And he says, oh, you saw when it was. I said, yeah. And I started talking about the day that it broke down. And he goes, okay, I remember you. You talked about that podcast. And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, we got it fixed. We got it towed home. And then that's when he told me. I said, I'm really curious. What was it? And that's when he told me.
Right on. Yeah, there's not a lot that goes wrong with LSs for the most part.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, all things considered.
Yeah, usually if they have a problem, it's self-inflicted.
That's true too.
I mean, but basically, I mean, that's a lot of that stuff is pretty much straight up, no problems. This is when somebody gets in there and messes with something that, or think they can redesign. That's my always when somebody thinks they can redesign a race car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't see Nora Nelson's daughter was commenting. I don't know if she's still watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was that on?
That was on YouTube.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
It must have been after Lewis.
Yeah,
got
about
off.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't have the.
Yeah, does it show? Oh yeah, over there it shows it. Yep. Well, she's probably not watching anymore, but surprised. Normally she messages me.
Oh yeah.
Instead of commenting, she'll message me instead of commenting, but yeah. Oh man, SEMA's going to be crazy this year, I think, because of the F1 race and everything else.
Yeah, they have a lot going on. Like you said, there's like 6 weeks of. It's like you just take like I said, take a month off, and you'd have something to do.
Yeah, I mean, which Vegas is always a hopping in place, but
yeah.
2 weeks ago or last week, they had a big convention there. I don't know. It wasn't hosted at the convention center. It was hosted at a hotel, but it was TwitchCon for gaming streamers.
Yeah.
Come from all over the globe to go to that.
Yeah, there's always something. I mean, that's, like I said, we usually, it's about every 3 years. That's where our convention is out of Vegas.
Yeah.
And it depends. Usually it's in February. So, but there's always, like you said, there's always something. There's always something going on. If it's only a 2-day thing or a whole week thing, there's always something. So, yeah, this year we're down in Orlando area, down by Disney.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool because they, I don't know, I think it's, which one has Harry Potter? Is that,
that's MGM. Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, that one, because they'll one day down there, one day while we're down there, they close the park early, and we have the whole park for ourselves.
Yep.
So,
when Snap-on was there in 2013 or 14. No, 13 was Nashville. 14, I think it was 2014. Our conference was there, and we did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had it in Nashville?
yeah. That was the first conference I ever went to was Nashville.
Yeah. We had my DC or we have a DC down there where our tools, everything's shipped out of. So, and that's Nashville. That's where all my stuff comes out of down there. And we had it 1 year at Nashville, and man, in February, boy, that sucked, dude. It was cold. I mean, they really got
far
beat.
enough south.
Yeah, they really got beat up for that, and it was cold and wet, and But you can laugh because I think it was our first year in San Antonio. We went to San Antonio, and this wasn't that long ago. What, 6 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. We got down there to San Antonio, and dude, it was snowing.
Yeah.
I mean, we come in, we get off, and here we are, man. It's like snowing and cold, and we walked into the hotel, and the lady's like, "Oh, this is the first time in 85 years we've had snow." Blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, we just came.
Thanks.
Yeah, we just came from, a snow region to come down here to put up with this crap."
Right.
But it wasn't like a snowstorm, but there was, it was just cold and snowy.
Yeah.
One day it was kind of funny, being that far down, down in San Antonio.
If y'all
was actually kind of nice.
If y'all were down here, y'all would have got snow too. I mean,
yeah.
The beginning of this year and the end of last year, it snowed like 3 or 4 times down here.
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes, so it doesn't really matter.
Where are you at, Isaac? You're in Phoenix?
No, south of Phoenix, Tucson. I'm 100 miles out. So I'm southeast Arizona.
Yeah. How's again, not to get real political, but how's the border stuff down there?
To be honest with you, there's a lot that's not on the news. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. Years past, growing up, we'd have a lot more information on the news. Like, you'd see a lot more on the news.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, one of my biggest arguments. So when Trump said about the wall, like even when he was campaigning back in 2015, 2016, and he was talking about the wall, I had some Facebook friends that were out of state, and they got into an argument with me because they were like, you don't understand, they're human beings, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what you don't understand is these people are taken advantage of, and there's people dying in the desert. So if you really care about human beings, I said, my argument is you're in another state. Border business is not your business. I said, you may take offense to that, but it's not your business because, number one, you're not given the full story. So if you were given the full story, then I would say, yeah, you have something to share. I said, but one of the things that you're not seeing is the amount of people that die just trying to get across the desert. And it doesn't matter if it's summer or winter, because our winters are harsh in the sense that we may not be having an Ohio winter or a New York or Maryland winter snow wise per se, but if it's 80 degrees in the day and then it drops down into the 30s at night, that's such a drastic difference. People are freezing at night.
Yeah.
Right. And
then in the summer, it's the opposite. People get dehydrated. They get lost.
Right.
You've got snakes out there. You got just so many different things environmentally. It's a harsh environment.
Yeah, it's a harsh environment.
And it just, honestly, one of the things that bothers me more so than the potential criminals coming across or anything like that is the people that are truly trying to get here. They don't have many options, or they're not on that side. They're not given the options to do it the right way. Or, I mean, there's many different ways you could look at it, but what bothers me the most is the amount of people that are either injured due to exposure or they die.
Yeah.
And some of that's just not, there's stuff that's just not told across the country. And,
right. And then of course, if it is told, it's in the perspective of evil. I mean, it's been, it's not that this guy's been walking around in circles for 4 days because he doesn't know where he's going, or the guy that took all his money, the coyote that dragged him and locked him in a trailer someplace for the, whatever. That's the only problem. I have
Nora
a
must
nephew.
still be watching.
Yeah, well, I have a nephew that's a border patrol guy, and like I said, when they all come over top of the hill, and they run, you're kind of left. There's very little to do, and then of course when you round them up, and you got the same group, you round them up, you put them on the bus, they send them back, and within a week you're around them the same. It's the same,
yeah.
It's the same group. I mean,
yeah, well, and then they'll bus them to a sanctuary city halfway across the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was something came up probably about a year ago, and it was shortly after Ray shared his information and his number with me, and he had asked, "Hey, what do you know about this?" And it was something that came across the news nationally, and I said I hadn't heard about it. Let me look into it, and I found the story he was asking about. But then, in the midst of finding the story, my mom had shared with me an incident that some people died within that time, and I shared it with him. I found an article on it and shared it with him, and he said, "Wow," he says, "that's not being broadcast up here."
Yeah.
And
yeah, I read a Facebook story. This was at least a year ago, and it was a guy that lived down, I believe it was New Mexico or something like that, but he was a farmer, rancher, lived relatively close to the border, and he said it's to the point where he did not want to leave his house after dark because he never knew who he'd run into, run into coyotes or run into a group of people just walking through his property or whatever. And he said he'd wake up in the morning and stuff would be trashed or moved or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, because, you being down there and being so close, you got a much different perspective than what we see and hear up here,
Well, and honestly, my family's been on my mom's side. We've been here since 1775. We've been here longer than that, but where we trace our main ancestors' roots back. And, for us, the border moved. Like, we didn't cross the border crossed us. It moved, with a Gadsden Purchase or whatever.
Right.
Now I have family members that on their extended side of the family, they may have ties. I have friends that have ties across the border, but like if something happened and I got shipped over there, I don't know anybody. Like, and there's a lot of people here like that. We don't, we'd be looking to get back because we have no.
Well, you have no intermediate family there.
Yeah, we have no system or any contact with anybody.
If you went there, you're a foreigner.
Yeah. But I also know people that have family and they go back and forth almost on a weekly basis that or some people have dual citizenship and they've gone about it the right way but there have been some wonky laws that have been on the very edge of, and this is 10, 20 years ago, that we felt on this side of the border have been on the edge of where it would harass the ones that are citizens here. That it's just out to get everybody, it's a blanket situation where you're trying to get everybody. So you round up the ones that you're looking for, but you end up rounding up everybody. Well, that's not a good thing in itself either. And the bottom line is some of the people coming across, they're really looking for a better life. And I do feel for them, but there's also a lot of them that they're trying to come over to get whatever they can get. It's a bad situation. And then too, a lot of the ones that we see on TV are actually, they're not from Mexico. They're coming through Mexico, but they're from other countries. They're further south or Central America,
Honduras, and yeah.
Well, that was like I was watching. I think it was on something on Fox or something. But I don't know exactly. But it was funny because they went out and asked the average American, who do you think's coming over the border? Coming over. And of course, it was something like 89%, almost 90%. Everybody just said it was Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they broke down where they said, it was over, 300,000 Chinese. And then you had 500,000 Middle Eastern, descent. And, it was just, the numbers were just insane on. Another big one was it was 200 something Somalians, and so it was just a huge. And when you look at it, you're like, well, if there was nobody that wasn't supposed to be here, they're here now because it's and of course they played it just right about how stupid we are. People think it's just a Mexican problem, but it's really not.
No.
And that's how the media pans it out until somebody breaks those numbers down and you realize just how much of other stuff's coming.
Well, if you look at Middle Eastern people, if you look at Afghanistani people, they look like me. They look like other Hispanics from this area.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're trying to sneak in, it's almost beneficial for them to, if they're trying, to get over here for the wrong means, it's beneficial to blend in, to infiltrate along with the Latinos, the Mexicans coming across, and because they can blend. You throw a Mexican blanket, a serape on a Middle Eastern person, you're not going to think they're Middle Eastern or Afghani. Yeah. And some of the people that have come back from Afghanistan that I've heard is there's some similarities to the terrain in Afghanistan as there is to Arizona and New Mexico and whatnot. There's some, there's similarities where if they're coming from that terrain and it's similar to ours, they can survive. They have a better understanding of surviving and making that trek through the desert. It's still going to be harsh and it's dangerous, but whatever they've grown up over there, it's going to be a lot easier for them to adapt, so to speak.
Right.
So yeah, it's unfortunate because like I said, well, like you said, Brian, they're trying to make it a Mexican-American or Mexican-American border issue, and that it's Mexicans and you must not like Mexicans. Don't you need your toilets cleaned? Who cleans your toilets and who cleans your who does your pool service in your lawn?
Yeah, who does your lawns?
First off, that in itself is kind of racist. The leftists that are saying that. Now, is it a stereotype and does it fit? Yeah, in a lot of ways it does, but it's not against the Mexican people that come across that want to work. Now the other side of it is, with that being said, I told you about my mom's side of the family and the border crossed us. On my dad's side of the family, my great grandparents immigrated and came through Ellis Island from Poland. And so they didn't come in illegally. So to the people that came through Ellis Island or any other port of entry and went through all the hoops they had to go through to become an American citizen, to let anybody sneak in across the border and just give them everything, that to me is a spit in the face to the people way before. To the immigrants our country is a country full of immigrants, to one degree or another. How many generations removed? So, and I think what the liberal media or those people that try to make it a race thing, they forget. They try to use the argument that we're all immigrants to begin with. But what they forget is, what about the immigrants that we come from that went about it the right way? Now, mind you, I'm sure there's people that snuck in through Canada and snuck in and jumped ship coming into the harbor and didn't go through Ellis Island like they were supposed to. I've heard stories, we've heard stories about that. I've heard stories. I've heard some of the Italian immigrants that they snuck into the country. So it's not that it's never happened before. It did. But when they got caught, they got deported, or they got, they had to go through things to get cleared and straightened out.
Right.
So what's changed that now we're allowing it willy-nilly? That, the argument's just stupid.
I watched a really good video, and it's an older video now. I believe this guy was a college professor of some kind, and it was like a stage presentation to a group of people, and the subject was immigration and how different political bodies over the years have presented that, this idea that the United States can solve all the world's problems by allowing people to immigrate here. And he went on, he had a very good visual demonstration about the amount of people that we legally allow to apply for citizenship every year.
Is that the guy with the marbles?
Yes. You've seen that video.
Yeah.
That's an amazing video, and it's old now. It's like 10 or 15 years old now.
Yeah, it is old, but that's a shock because that visual when he starts to put those marbles and so forth.
Yeah,
you'll have to send that video to me. I'd be interested in seeing it.
I'll have to find it. But one of his major, he talks about like the African continent and allowing people to immigrate here, and he said what ends up happening is the people that do immigrate to here permanently are the ones who have the most drive, the most ambition, or the best skills, to market themselves, or they were already doing pretty good in these other countries and could afford the trip and whatever else, right? So he said, we're taking basically the best from these other countries and allowing them to immigrate here. And it's such a small trickle, such a small percentage of the people of either country that it doesn't matter to the grand scheme of things anyways. It's a very eye-opening video. And like I said, it's probably at least a decade old now.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I was watching a thing, and the comedian Paul Rodriguez, it might have been with Adam Carolla on Adam Carolla's podcast. But he was talking about the fact that he was born in Mexico. He talked about the region. He was a kid. He was a little kid when his family they came across. But they talked about the immigration situation, and don't quote me on it because I'd have to watch it again. But I believe he was saying that Julio Cesar Chavez, they make him out to be that he was all for these migrants coming across like they're trying to do now. And Paul Rodriguez was saying, no, he wasn't that way. Again, don't quote me on it, but that's from what I remember. And that there's a lot of these different people that the politicians try to, especially the ones that have passed, they try to say, oh, they would have been all for this. They were for this. And they weren't, because what they were for is coming across the right way. And Paul Rodriguez's family was one of those that came across and worked hard. And in fact, I think it was at the end of the Vietnam War or whatnot. Him and his brother turned 18, and his mom wanted to send them back to Mexico to avoid the draft. And his dad said, no, we came to this country, and this country has given us all these things, all these benefits. Our boys, the country needs them. They're going to sign up for selective service, and that's their duty. The country has given us all this and allowed us to come and become citizens. We can give something of our family. And he was talking about it, and he was saying, not that his dad wanted his boys to go out to war and the possibility of being killed, but what it was he understood how precious that coming across and the opportunity afforded to him and becoming citizens, how precious that was, and had a respect for it. That's where a lot of the immigrants from south of the border that have come across actually are against the illegal immigration, because they, again, like I said, it's a spit in the eye for the ones that have done it the right way.
Yep.
Because they've done it the right way and they worked hard, and they're not saying that they don't want people from their home country to come across. They're saying, why did I have to work for it? And you just think you can walk in through the back door or the back gate.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
So somewhere along the way, the American dream got subverted from equal opportunity to equal results.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the root of most of our society's problems here in this country, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I have customers, Hispanic customers going through the process of being legal citizens. And, of course, I've had these guys, and it's, 7 to 10 years that they're going through this process, and you should hear them. They get really mad because of what's going on. But, it's even sad of the BS part on their part, because they get a lawyer at $750 for 15 minutes on the phone every 3 months, because you got to call in and say, well, we're working on this. You got to fill this paper out. You got to do this. Call me back in 3 months. And they drag this out for this time. And meanwhile, this guy is trying to get him and his family or whatever. And it's 15 minutes and $700 or it's $400. It depends on how many people are with him. But, and I'm like, and then of course there are some guys, not all, that they take care and they get the process done, and it's done in 2 years or whatever. And, again, it's the greedy, it's the greed. That's why people hate us, because, we're not looking out for we're looking out for,
the flip side. The flip side of that argument is we are one of the only countries in the world that allows so many people to apply for citizenship.
Right.
Yeah. And all things considered, the punishment for crossing the border illegally here is a slap on the hand compared to most other countries in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you, my sister was actually in Europe, and she was talking to some people there that they were asking, we hear all this stuff. What's the deal? Like, you don't like these people? And she presented it to them in the most plain form, but the realistic form of, now these people come across, and she used countries next to their country and said, if they come across like this and they do that, and they were like, no, you can't do that. And She said, that's what's going on in our country. And so, like you said, we're no different in the sense of wanting to have a secure border and not just let people in. We're no different than any other country. Where we are different is more people get away with more here, where other countries, it's not a slap on the wrist. It's not a, you're facing major stuff, and they will kick your butt out, and you may do prison time, or you may, whatever the case may be, the penalty is more harsh, that's what a lot of people, I don't think, understand. And it just, there's too much of an argument. One of the problems we have here also is there's too much of American citizens arguing all sides of it, and most of us don't even have a dog in the race that are arguing.
Yeah, it's all crazy.
We're right now, I mean, pick any topic that they have all of us arguing about, take your daily life and the people you run across. And if certain subjects come up and there's an argument, or not to bring up a subject because there will be, because you've seen something, how many of those people have a dog in the race? How many really? But we, as a society, as a whole, as a country, we get driven by certain things we see on the media, and then we pick a side, and then in picking the side, then we can't even agree to disagree anymore. For the most part, we sit there and, you bring something up, and man, people are ready to fight.
Yeah, it's crazy on that.
Yeah, and like you said, we're so driven by the media in this country. What's on the news channel, what gets shared in memes or whatever on social media amongst the people that we know, which is usually a fairly closed circle of people, right? So you're mostly friends with people who have a similar mindset as you.
Yeah.
So that creates these exclusion zones, right? These different bubbles. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I always mention to people when they're talking about how, like, oh, well, the news isn't talking about it, so it must not be that important, or whatever. I always say, well, what do you think about the civil war in Yemen? And they'll go, what? And, oh yeah, it's been going on for like 11 years, and it has a higher death toll than the Vietnam War, and it's it's entirely and very important to world economy, because if one side of that civil war wins, pirate attacks and terrorist attacks on shipping in both the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, it's probably going to quadruple or maybe even go up more than that. And that's why the United States has been supporting one side of the Civil War for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't even know that was going on. I was like, oh, it's, over 1 million people have died in this war.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like you said. That's the sad part about it, and until people understand, until it affects the average, until it starts to affect the average person, that's when people realize,
Exactly.
That's just like now, it's funny to a point. You go 4 or 5 months ago, for me, the cost of fuel affects my business greatly.
Right.
And, I would say something about and everybody was like, well, what are you talking about? It's not that bad. But now here we are where it's now affecting, the average person. And I'm just like, dude, you have no idea how it affects me now.
Yeah.
And they're like, God, I can't believe how I drove by, it was one price, and I come back and it's another price. And I'm like, well, now you understand what I was talking. And he goes, oh yeah, you said something a couple months ago. And I'm like, yeah. And, until it affects, then people have no idea or concept. And that's kind of, again, sad to a point that nobody's paying, until it affects them.
Right. Well, that goes with the old saying, the whole reason people always stay in terrible situations, right? So a woman will stay with a man who beats her, and kids don't speak up about being abused, and you stay in a job that's terrible and you hate yourself every day because of, and it comes down to change is painful, right? It's painful and it's scary, and change never occurs until the pain to stay the same is equal to or greater than the pain of change.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's I deal with, like I said, I'm in the middle of a changing period for myself, and like I said, it's hard because it's you get comfortable, compliant, and you don't want to give up what you have to get what you can get, and that's a lot of people have the hard time seeing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's the same reason populations allow tyrannical governments to make laws that, affect everybody, right? You get your freedoms nibbled away a little bit at a time over time, because, if they took a giant leap, everyone might be on the same page and say, no, we don't want that. Right.
Yeah.
But a great example of that is the accounts of all the Jews in Germany, and they're like, well, we didn't really worry until we had to start wearing that star on our clothes when we went out in public.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing too with that is it was little by little.
Yep.
Certain areas might have gotten hit harder, and they tried to get word out, and people are like, no, that couldn't be. And then little by little, and then once they had a foothold, then it was like, then they hammered them. And and there's some, if you look at the history with that, there's some Germans that when they marched them to the death camps to show them and made them help clean and everything, there were some that were like, oh my God, I didn't know. And now we look at it, and yeah, the ones close by probably did know, but there probably were pockets that didn't know what to believe. And I would have to say it's probably a high probability that there was a good percentage that didn't really understand or know. There were a lot that did also. And, and that's bad. But I do believe that out of some of the ones that were like really upset and shocked, I do believe that they didn't know what to believe. So they didn't know.
Yeah. Well, and every time I talk to someone about that whole time period in history, they say, well, the only reason why the Nazi regime was was so effective at their tyranny was because they controlled the state media and they deceived their populace and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. And I just, my response is always, look at today, right? So the same like 5 people own almost every public media outlet in this country, and I'm not saying that they have total control, right? Because there are things like Facebook and whatever else, and some stuff can get out that way. But the vast majority are still plugged into their news channels, and even conservative news outlets, historically conservative news outlets are very much still towing the line and following marching orders, as far as what they put on. So it's very, I mean, I could be on a whole podcast about this all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I've thought about it before too, there's so much information. There's so much open source information that if you search, you can get it. And there's so much that we could talk about on those subjects. And it's just, here, I'll give you a perfect example. So we talk about global warming and all the climate change and stuff. From time to time, I'll watch on MeTV and late at night, the Carol Burnett show would come on, and I'll be watching. I was watching it one day, and when she did, turn on the house lights and let's take questions from the audience, and you guys were mentioning Nashville, it reminded me there was a guy in the crowd, and he was from Memphis. He might have Nashville or Memphis. But she goes, wow. And she goes, gosh, it's 118 degrees there. And this is in the 70s, right? She's saying it's like 118 degrees there. And he goes, yeah, pretty much. And she goes, and how cold does it drop down to? And he goes, 0. And it goes from 118 to 0. And I'm looking at it. And then I immediately grabbed the controller and I started hitting the guide, the info button. And I'm like, what year was it? It was like 74 or 73 or something like that.
Wow.
And it's like heat waves are nothing new.
Right. Well, and you can go back and you can look at, the last 100 years of climate change discussion, in the scientific community. And about every 10 to 15 years, they proclaim some doomsday thing, I recently saw an image that was a timeline, in the 70s, it was going to be the polar ice caps were going to be all melted by 1995, all that stuff. And then, so there was all this huge long list of things. And then the other side of the image was a picture of like Barcelona Harbor Wall or something like that in like 1905 at high tide and 2022 at high tide, and you could not tell a difference between the two. And there's a lot of, the problem is there's a lot of people who are very convinced in their own rightness, that they're correct, and they want to just argue for the sake of arguing. And there's no more gray area anymore. There's no more agreeing to disagree. If you're not with me, you're against me. It's just, everything's polarized. And I think every government, every political body on the planet is on the same page because they want that to happen. They don't want their peoples to be united. It doesn't matter the country. It doesn't matter if they have freedom to rise up against their government or defend themselves. It doesn't matter if they have, access to weaponry to defend themselves. No political operation on this planet wants their peoples to be completely united and on one page, because that means that they're going to be subservient to the people again. And pretty much no governments on the planet today are actually answering to their people. That's just the bottom line. Doesn't matter if you're conservative or if you're liberal or whatever. It's the bottom line is the government doesn't do what the people want. So
no. Well, and it's funny because I remember I remember growing up and learning about Socrates and his quote of question everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my dad being a preacher. I took that to him. And at the time, he said, as a preacher, he said, well, that's not good. You don't question.
Right.
Now,
Certainly not the church. You never question the church.
Yeah. And I know where my dad was coming from and what he meant. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm not saying that Socrates and the philosophy and all that was spot on. What I will say is certain things like that question everything. If we look at anything, if we look at the government, if we look at when I'm coaching the kids, if they question me, and not in a disrespectful way, but a genuine, don't take it for my word, ask for research or do some research and bring it. And that's how you learn. Right. That's how you either embrace everything I'm teaching or find, hey, there's a flaw, coach. Well, what do you mean there's a flaw? Let's look at it. Oh, you know what? I have had players say, hey, I was on a team and we did it this way, and this is why. This one little thing doesn't, we were shown it doesn't work. Okay, well, I want to know. Show me.
Yeah.
And I've actually, as a coach, have made some changes. And the thing is even from a biblical or church aspect, genuinely questioning, and I mean out of a sincerity, questioning God, questioning the church, that's how you get away from having 50 different denominations, is you don't fall for everybody's different viewpoint. Right. You go with what God's word says, and you stick to that because you question, this guy's selling this. Right. I don't know. And you start questioning, well, no, that doesn't line up. But even let's go even further and say questioning God. Well, why did this happen? Well, you can, and not trying to push faith or anything on anybody, but if people believe in God, well, if God's real, you can. And I've heard people that believe in God that say, no, you can't question God. And I've turned around and my response is, well, how are you going to find the answer? If God is all knowing, all powerful, if you question him in a respectful way, he'll give you the answer. He'll show you. If he's real, and I believe he's real, and there's nothing wrong with questioning. Now, questioning and being like a little shit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then if God's real, you're barking down the wrong tree. But
yeah,
but we don't teach the Socrates method, or even any type of method of question everything.
Yeah. And on the issue of religion and faith, if you look at the Bible, there's lots of examples where persons such as Jesus, they welcomed questions and took it as opportunity to teach, rather than be preachy or belligerent or whatever. So there's the problem I have with most religions, and this is not just limited to Christian faith. This is across the board. Is number one, they're managed and ran in modern times by imperfect persons, who make mistakes, who are prone to prejudices and whatever else, right? The other problem is they're all, like you said, none of them really encourage any kind of questioning. They want to be very preachy, like, this is the way it is. This is the truth, and this is what you will follow,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And I agree with that, because even looking at it from a coaching aspect, taking that subject as what you just shared and taking it and then flipping it as an analogy with coaching, when my players question, there's a different way. There's a difference from being belligerent or being an ass, and there's a difference from saying, Coach, why are we doing this?
Right.
Good question. Now you're ready to learn, because once you know the whys, you're not just going through the motions. You're deep in it. You're feeling it. And it's the same thing with the other stuff. And if I was the type of coach to say, no, you don't question anything and we just do it, then that's a quick way to get people to drop off.
Right. Yeah. The
Or
whole
just
because I
it
said
fall
so
apart
mentality.
because yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that can be really applied to a lot of stuff.
But
Like you said,
all,
coaching sports, approaches to getting work done in the shop. I mean, you know, there's a time and a place. Now, I've also worked with people who always question every process all the time because they always think that they have a better idea. And that was a personality defect in that particular person. Where they couldn't just accept that someone else probably had a better idea. And if they've been doing it this way for so long, you know, maybe this is the best process or whatever, you know. And it wouldn't have been so bad if, you know, he had like a decent success rate. Like, hey, why are we doing it this way? I think we should do it this way instead. And it comes to agreement that, oh, yeah, that's actually a better way when, you know, in reality, we just spend 45 minutes or an hour, you know, wasting time and end up doing it the pre-prescribed way anyway.
Yeah.
So there's give and take, right? But that comes back to having the gray area, right? When the problem is when you get rid of the gray area, none of that exists.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you said it can go in so many different aspects. Even goes from the aspect of governments, because the government's more of a do as I said and don't do as I say, not as I do, and don't ask questions, you know.
Right. And don't dare lie to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you're not allowed to lie to your government because that's a felony, but they're allowed to lie to you because that's just politics.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's a big conundrum. And I was talking about this to Lewis last week when he was here at the shop. I said, we were talking about, you know, I'm the farthest person from wanting more government. You know, I think government is already, the fact that it's the number one employer in this country is already ridiculous. But if you look at the representation, when the founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence and wrote the Articles of Constitution, there was only like 3 million residents in all the 13 colonies. And they decided that 360, I'm rusty on my numbers. I can't remember how many congressmen there are. And there's 100 senators. And they decided these positions, right? And that was sufficient for that level of populace. Mm-hmm. Well, now we have 50 states. We have, someone is going to watch this and call me out and say, oh, well, it wasn't this number until then or whatever. But the point is, I don't think today we have adequate representation at the same scale that the founding fathers thought.
Yeah.
You know, because now we've got 370 some million residents in this country, you know? So it's over 100 times more people living here.
Yeah. What you're getting at is the percentage is off.
Exactly.
It's not a balance. What was before was meant to be more of a balanced percentage. And now it's so out of balance.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to admit the governments were different back then. You know, the politicians, the political positions in this country weren't intended to be full year-round jobs. You know, they were supposed to be like a 3-month out of the year kind of thing, and some states still do that. I know Tennessee, their legislature, you know, they only meet like one session a year for like 2.5 months, and then the rest of the year they're in their home territories doing their thing. But in general, I think this government has just become it's skewed, right? So on the one hand, it's very bloated and inefficient, but on the other side, on an individual basis, we don't have adequate representation.
Yeah,
you know, a good example is the congressman in our area. There's a lot of people who are dissatisfied with him. He's from Youngstown, and his major constituent base is actually about an hour away over in the Cleveland area and south of there in the Akron area. And so that's where almost all his votes for re-election come from. But he lives here in Youngstown. This is where his house is. His wife works over here, you know, all this stuff. And the Youngstown side of the populace is very dissatisfied with him and has been for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's And the biggest problem is someone like you and I and Brian are all on the same page. Talking about this stuff doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
no, we're just venting our spleen, and it doesn't change anything. So it's a giant conundrum. And I was talking to my one friend recently. I said, there's a historical statistic that you need 13% of a populace on the same page for any kind of major political governmental revolution to be successful. Mm-hmm. And it's never going to happen in this country ever again, or probably anywhere in the world, because governments today are too efficient at keeping people divided.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And even going back to the aspect of you can't agree to disagree anymore.
Right.
Because, I find it funny. I can talk to people from a different political view or whatever, or pretty much most any subject. As long as you're not trying to force feed me and you can respect that I may disagree, then I can deal with it because I'm not trying to force feed you, and I can accept you. Right. And even if you're trying to force feed me, I can accept you as a person, but I would avoid you maybe,
Right.
But yeah, you can't. I've run into people where we can see eye to eye on certain things, and other things we are so opposite of the spectrum, it ain't even funny, and I can still get along with them. We either don't touch that subject, or we can get to a point where we're like, well, that subject, this is what I feel, this is what they feel, and we agree that we feel different, and we can still be friends, and and we can actually even have a discussion. We can have a discussion as to why my view is this way and why his view is this way or her view is this way, and just accept that we're different. But that's farther and few.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, there's very few people like that, or have that type of relationship or friendship. I have a few, like I said, there's a few guys that we're two opposite ends, but we still get along just fine. But it's, again, we've come back to say this. You gotta be able to have respect for everybody.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that just don't, that will not give that respect, and then they wonder why they don't get respect. And that's why a lot of this stuff, it's amazing. It's good. It's interesting to talk about, mm-hmm. and listen to ideas and get ideas and so forth like that. But,
it's always nice to talk to people that have similar viewpoint as you and feel validated too.
Right. Or that, or even, like I said, I have people that are on a whole different end of the spectrum, and they've even said it. They said, well, you don't blow up, or you don't. And I said, there's no reason for that. I said, I have no problem listening to your view. I have no problem saying I think you're wrong, but right. But when you turn around and tell me I am wrong, then that's where the problem is. That you had to have that respect, and we just don't have that respect for that anymore with anything. And and my only fear about the whole thing is that there's enough crazy people around here that will start shooting before asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you get caught up in something, and it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. And if you think that if you're thinking somebody's going to help you, you got another thing coming. And that's the only problem. That's my only fear about everything. That
where it really started going downhill? When that lady spilled hot coffee on herself at McDonald's
and won
her lawsuit.
I say that all the time, and people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, think about it, dude.
Yeah.
That's when I
when
use that
society
line.
started to lose their mind.
You must have heard me say that because I've said that. It does. I use that line
saying that for years,
all the time.
Yeah, that's funny.
And people look at me like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, dude, when we had to put multiple labels on something because it was effing hot and she got paid, dude,
Well, if you look at any product you open and look at the warning labels and see some of the most craziest crap on there, it just boggles your mind. You're like, why? Like, this is stupid. Why would this be on here? But rest assured, somebody sued somewhere and won, and that's why it's on there. So somebody did it. And it goes back to that old saying, if you can think it, it's been done. You know, no matter how insane, crazy, stupid, and you may be thinking something like in a novelty way. Like, God, I wonder if somebody would be dumb enough to do that. Well, guess what? Somebody did it.
They were talking about crazy laws or weird laws that you might not know about, and they had something like, something about doing something with a goat or something, it was kind of weird. And the guy said the only reason why it's in the law, but somebody must have done it,
Right. Yeah. And it's, so one of those weird laws that's still on the books, in Youngstown within city limits, it's illegal to run out of gas on the road. So at some point they must have had such a big problem with people running out of gas that they had to make a law about it.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy stuff.
It just it is crazy. It's amazing. I mean, and then back to the respect thing, what you were saying, one of the biggest problems in the world, in society in general, in the world, is we've lost track of the golden rule and the whole do unto others as you would want done unto you. Because if people took that rule to heart and followed it, it would solve everything, if not damn near everything. And the thing is that it's very simple. Well, this person was shoving this down my throat. Well, that person that was shoving it down your throat, they don't want things shoved down their throat. I mean, any argument that you see right now that goes on TV and people complaining about their feelings and their hurt, they're shoving something and they don't want, and they're feeling something shoved down their throat or whatever. And it's like, go back to that golden rule that solves that all. Right. Like you can be respected for who you are or what. I may not agree with what you want to do or whatever, but I can respect it and leave you be. But if I disagree with what you do, leave me be.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not coming home with you. I'm not.
Right. There's a disproportionate amount of people who can dish it but not take it.
Oh
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you ever used it, Tyler, but I use it all the time. And it's when I go in to get paid and the guy gives me a song and a dance and, or, oh, come on, man, whatever. And I say, hey, buddy, if I owed you $1,500, you'd want your money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they usually look and say, well, yeah. And I said, well, why is it any different?
Mm-hmm.
And, so I said, you know what your weekly payment is, you know what we're supposed to be doing. And I said, if I owed you money, you would be on the phone every 15 minutes wondering when you were going to get paid.
Yep.
So pay me.
Yeah.
So
one of our sales developers, he was a franchisee first way back in the day, and he had pay me on his arm on a tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Brian, I got offered to run a truck again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, run a truck for a franchise that wants to pick up a second route and kind of be his own mini sales developer,
Uh-huh.
and bounce back and forth between routes. And I don't know.
Well, I get it. Well, it's funny because I'm the old guy in the group, so there's all new faces in my district, I'm the old guy. And it's funny when I run across some of the older guys that had retired and it's always funny. They say they wish they never gave it up. So it's once it's in you,
yeah,
it has its moments, but you can't, like I said, it's tough.
I always enjoyed the job. I was just terrible at the management side of things.
Oh yeah, the money. I still, it's an interesting business, and it is kind of forgiving. You can make a hell of a mistake, and they do have guidelines or the basics, and we all kind of think we could do it better than the basic. You get kind of take 2 steps off to the left and you might fall down the gully a little bit, but you can pick yourself up and get right back, follow that guideline. Trust me, I've rebuilt. I've thrown everything in a shitter more than once and you build everything back. So, and come back and do it. So it can be done. But I guess the hardest part would be for me, would be not having the cash flow. That's everybody says it when they get out, that you don't have the cash flow like relatively available
right
that way. But I don't know, it could be interesting. Get yourself back out.
Yeah.
And then about 6 weeks in, you'll say, "What the hell did I do?" And
yeah.
The only problem is that will affect your ability to drive around the countryside.
Yeah, and that'd be my thing. I would tell them straight up, be like, "This isn't going to be a long-term gig. I'm not going to be working for you in 2 or 3 years."
Yeah,
but you never know.
But was that with another Snap-on? Was it with a Snap-on? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, actually, so the guy I bought primarily all my tools off of over the last 10 years or 13 years I've been buying tools. He retired and sold his route to this guy. And that's how I've been going over and meeting him because I my shop's out of his way. But it's he's real nice and he's very down to earth, realistic kind of guy. He's been around the block a few times. So
how long has he been in business?
He was a franchisee a long time ago, and then he was corporate for several years. And now he's back in a truck. So
yeah, that's I've had a couple of my Snap-on guys. They were, they were on a truck and then they went into the corporate. They went to the dark side, and they find themselves back in the truck.
Yeah, well, when you're not chasing those cash truck account payments every week, I'm sure there's a stress level that goes away. I know there was when I checked in.
Yeah. So we had I don't know, they've asked, they offered or asked if I wanted to become a trainer. I kind of chuckled at that. So teaching them bad habits. I definitely had to be reprogrammed on that whole thing.
Send me back to boot camp a couple times.
a couple of times. Actually, it wouldn't be that bad. I wouldn't have that much of a problem, I guess, but it's a lot of travel. And I'm not going to say I'm an old guy, but I don't want to be traveling all over the place. It'd be great for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I would really enjoy it for like the first 3 months or 6 months or so, and then after that, it would just be the same old, grind that it was before. Because they're long hour days, and all that stuff. So and he lives about an hour outside of his route. So he's got to drive in. He's got 2 days in the week where he goes to all 24-hour shops.
Oh,
and
wow.
so to hit all the shifts the same day. He said I think he said Thursdays he's on the truck from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of shops that are 24 hours, and I would get up and go out and catch the first changeover, and this was like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Then come back, and then of course this is when the kids were little, so then I'd get the kids ready, get them to school, and then go do my route, and then hit the middle of the day shift with them changing, and every once in a while I would hit the 9 o'clock, the first shift, late. But I found that if I hit the afternoon, I got some of those guys for that shift. But it was really, it's a long day. I have
do you have pretty stiff competition in your area or no?
Well, I do. Well, the problem with it is, and I don't want to make it sound this way, but it will come out this way. I'm the old guy, and I've been around for 20 years, and I tell all my competition guys, either we can work together or you can hate me. It doesn't really matter, and just you can do your thing. I don't, I have one Snap-on guy that's out to try to kill me, you know what I'm saying? And
he'd cut your brakes if he could.
Yeah, I mean, he's got I actually laugh at him because he has like my t-shirts dragging on the back of his truck,
Oh,
and
geez.
like I think there's a picture of me
treating
on
him like Indian scalps.
Yeah, and the funny thing is he'll be like, yeah, bring me something from Matco and I'll give you a free shirt or a free hat or whatever. And I tell him, I said, when you do that, they come to my truck, they pay me money
to buy something,
to go to your truck to get something for free. I don't understand that type of logic.
Right.
Okay, because you're giving away something for free that cost you money, because Snap-on doesn't give you anything, just like Matco doesn't give me anything.
Right.
There's a cost somewhere in there.
Somebody paid for it somewhere.
Yeah. You paid for it, not somebody. You paid for it somewhere in there. And right. I said, they come to me and they pay me money for my product so that you can take it and give them something. I said, please,
keep it up.
Keep it up. So
yeah. And that's I always when I walked into one of my shops and someone had a brand new, triple bank Matco box or whatever.
Yeah.
I watched multiple tool guys that would just get all dejected about that, get butt hurt. And I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah. I see you got some open drawers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, when guys, I walk in and, tell them, or I see that, that's the same thing. I was like, great, let's fill it up, dude. I mean, yep. You got the room now, you can start buying stuff. So,
yep.
But I do run up against, I've got 4 or 5. I have like 6 Snap-on guys, and I've got, I only have 1 Mac guy.
And that's not surprising.
And I got, I had 2 independent guys, but I don't know what happened. I haven't seen them in a while.
Did they have a particular brand, or they were just their own thing?
Their own thing. Yeah.
We had a gear wrench branded guy for a while around here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to that, because that's under the same umbrella of brands as Matco, right?
No. Well, gear wrench, the whole reason why we used to have Apex. And that's the people like Gear Wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's those are the guys that made our wrenches, and Danaher.
Yeah, part of Danaher Tool.
The company that owns us owned Apex.
Okay.
Okay, and of course we've gone through some changes. We're I think a Fortative now or whatever is the company that bought us. I can't remember the name, but going along the line, not to get too complicated or try to streamline it. So basically, Apex Gear Wrench said we're going to have tool trucks, and Danaher / Fortative said no, you're not. So they sold it off, and they went to go do their own tool truck thing.
Oh, okay.
And
maybe that's how that happened.
That's how that kind of happened. And there were a handful of Mako guys left Mako to become a gear wrench truck. And unfortunately,
that probably didn't go real well for them.
Yeah, it you know, I had a gear wrench truck that would pop up. Actually, the guy tried to get me to get switch over. He was a bounty hunter or a promoter, or you know, he was somebody up in the chain, and he drove the truck around to show it off, and he was trying to get somebody. I was asked if I wanted to switch, and I told him no.
Yeah,
it's bad enough when the Snap-on guy tries. I had a Snap-on guy try to. When he got out, he wanted me to. I already had his route. I mean, I was on top of his route, or I ran, but he wanted me to switch.
Yeah,
he tried to get me to switch, and then he was actually kind of funny because he was like, and he was a pretty big heavy hitter. I don't know how I survived with him, but he was a big hitter, and he even told me a handful of times. He said, "Dude, I tried to kill you, man. You're like a cockroach, man. I can't believe, I can't believe you're still in business." So,
yeah, and it's interesting. So I had a Matco guy who was very well established when I got in my area, and my whole area had been rather disabused by the former Snap-on guy.
Yeah.
And then he was still in the area as an independent, and he the Matco guy, he was down. He was not threatened by me at all. First of all, you know, like I was a drop in the bucket for him. But he had a very down to earth personality, and he would he'd send guys onto my truck all the time, be like, "Hey, you know, Snap-on makes a better this. If you want the best this, you should go get it from them," you know. And I always appreciated that. And there was a couple instances where I sent people his way, you know, but it was I never got the whole territorial, you know, piranha attitude thing, you know. I was like, we're gonna be fighting over this customer, and then the Cornwall guy's gonna walk in and sell him something while both of us are fighting over him. You know, it's what's the point?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, you know, I like I said, I've been told multiple times from my competition, I guess. I don't look at them a competition because like I tell them all, dude, there's enough for everybody. And you're going to have the one guy that's a diehard Snap-on guy. You're going to have the guy we haven't had a Mac guy in 10 years. And I still have diehard Mac guys, you know.
Wow.
And it's crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Although I live in an area where we're all fans of the Cleveland Browns, so I can relate, I guess.
So, you know, of course, when we got it, we do have a new Mac guy. They were like more excited. I mean, you think you won the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it was, and you know, I just tell them,
you're like, "Oh, we can get our stuff warranted." Thank the Lord.
Put them out of business because you know you wonder why you put them out of business because you know 10,000 people came out of the woodwork with, you know, umpteen million 10 millimeter sockets that, you know,
split down the side.
you know, and
hey,
his
Tyler,
first day, he's like, "I need more ratchet rebuild kits."
Yeah, I know. He's taking stuff apart on the wall, you know, and keep it going. But you know, like Tyler, I said,
sorry to interrupt. Hey, Tyler, ask him what he's exhibiting. I was looking at the chat.
if I recall, I think he does that stuff for like the Chargers and Challengers and the anti-theft mods.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's who that is. Pretty sure.
Destroyer 1320.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. I think I think Lewis and I were on his podcast at one time.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, he does a couple different things. Mostly for Mopar products. He has his own website, 1320 destroyer1320.com.
Okay.
And then he has a YouTube channel. But I guess there's a couple I think he got started with the anti-theft thing because some of the Mopars had like this really easy bypass to get them to start in like a dealer service mode or something like that. And he built a block off plate for that. And yeah, so that's what he's going to be doing.
That's cool. I'll check his stuff out. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Destroyer 1320 theft deterrent systems. So there you go.
Okay. I'm hoping possibly
neutral release plate. There he goes. Plate. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping next year I'll be able to break away and at least go for a day or two to SEMA and meet up with you guys.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, it's kind of hard because we're right in the middle of Monday is our first soccer game. So we just started soccer season. So that's kind of hard, but I know next year I can get the time off as far as my new position with the district. I can always get time off with whatever sport I'm in. It's just hard for me to do morally. There's so much I want to do that I'm like, I got to put it off because morally I'd feel bad.
Yeah. Oh, man. I got your loaded toolbox up.
Oh.
I have a warranty one. Huh?
You have a newer ramp or old style?
Newer.
You got so you had the fancy roll stop, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. My old box. I mean, my old truck. I had a. I think it's the same. It might be a little bit less, but I had the biggest, the biggest lift gate, and it was like 3,000 pounds, and
right.
it was 6 feet. When it opened up, it was the 6 feet.
Yeah,
but you got one of our 6 Series 3 bays or 4 bays boxes, you still had about 30 inches hanging off the back end. And luckily, I have a little weight with me to hold everything because it didn't have the stops, or nothing. And, man, I moved some stuff that was really scary, getting them in and out. And it was funny when my newer truck here, it's got the 6-foot lift gate. I think it's 3,000 pounds, but it has the folding thing that comes out. That's another 2.5 feet or whatever with the ramp built on and so forth. So it makes it easy. Huh?
Destroyer. He's popping out.
Yeah, he's popping out.
So it's a hell of a lift. So
I'm listening to you and interrupting your conversation and talking to him, responding to his chat.
Yeah,
just messing everything up.
So I was just talking to a Snap-on guy, and the Mr. Big toolbox, right? I guess that'd be considered like a 6 bay, maybe.
Yeah.
He said, they're telling us that we can put that on our lift gates now and just let the end 4 casters hang off, and as long as you keep it from rolling, don't use your roll stop. And he's like, that's way too sketchy.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that toolbox is like 2,600 pounds empty or something like that.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I've moved. I've moved some big stuff, and I've had stuff hanging off, and I made I took one of my straps. I took a strap, the E-channel straps,
mm-hmm.
and I mounted one to the floor by the door so that I could hook into that, and then I can wrap that around the casters on the closest to the door, and then hook that back into the thing. So if it's not going to. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. You know, if it tries to move. And I leave enough slack in it so that the lift, I get about so high up, and then I hook it in, and like I said, it can't go. Because one time, thank God it was a Snap-on box, because the Snap-on box. No, because a Snap-on box doesn't have the third casters, the center casters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we figured out how to make strong enough casters. We didn't have to add the third pair.
Yeah, right. And you keep believing that. But what happened was I was a guy, I had a used 3-bay Snap-on box on the truck, and the guy wanted to buy it. And of course I was like, hey, why don't you come down and help me unload the truck? Help me unload it. And he's like, yeah, okay. And of course I get down there and I get in. And of course I was like, all right, dude, whatever. So I was slightly on an incline, not much, but as I got the box lined up and I'm rolling it through the door, going out, and of course it takes off on me. Ooh. And it comes right out of the back of the truck and it right off. And I'm, the lift gate's up, the lift gate's all the way up. And that thing came out, and thank God that when the front wheels went off, the bottom of the box dragged along. And it stops, so it's teetering on the thing.
Oh man!
And so a dude was walking by, some kid was walking by, and his eyes were about that big. He's like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like holding onto the box, and I was like, "Hey, dude, hand me that remote hanging on the side of the truck there," And he's like, hands it to me, and I'm like, brings it down. And I get it. And just then the guy comes down out of the shop and he's like, you need any help? And I said, yeah, you can roll this in, bitch. I was done with that. Thank God. Because if I had a Mako box, that thing would have gone straight off because, we have 6 casters.
Right.
Oh, man, it was crazy. So I was like, thank God that thing stopped. And then after that, I realized, and like I said, I've moved, knock on wood. I mean, I've never had one drop or lost one. I came close, but after that, that's when I said, well, I can't rely on the luck of the Irish on this too much. I made that strap like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, at least if it gets away or goes, it's still going to be tied to the truck.
Right.
So I had one I moved one time. It was so big. I didn't measure right. I had to cut one of my walls out of the truck to get it in the thing. The guy looked at me and I was like, this is going to cost you, dude. Because I was moving his box, and of course it was loaded, and
of course
got it up because I was like I was like one of the few guys that can only lift. I mean, like I said, I have enough weight, or it would lift with my lift gate. And got it in the truck, and it wouldn't fit. One of my walls were in the way, and grabbed the Sawzall and cut that son of a bitch. The guy thought I was crazy. I said, don't worry, I'm adding it to your bill. That weekend, went back up to Home Depot and got a new wall, drew a trace and redid it and carpeted, put it back. Once I got done, put it back, but.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So my time on tool trucks is what made me want to build the interior of my bus as modular as possible.
Yeah.
So that, nothing's permanently welded or screwed in place or whatever. I want it to be relatively easy to move stuff around, reconfigure, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a lot of E-track attachment stuff.
Yeah, that E-track stuff. And actually, I did that with my old truck. This one I haven't done much to. And actually, my district manager, he cringes when I start talking about it, because my old truck I cut up and I made all that stuff movable. because I had, your file cabinet or your drawers and my workstation. My workstation started out in the center of the truck, and by the time I got done, I've had it at both ends. I moved, I had moved all that stuff around, and like I said,
is yours a step van or a box truck?
Box truck. Yeah,
Okay.
I wish
with a pass through to the cab. You got to walk around.
I have a Isuzu. I have the old Isuzu.
That's how my my company truck was when I first started.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, there's times I'm glad. I mean, there's times I wish it was a walkthrough, and then there's times I'm glad it's not, because that means, I mean, all that the business stuff is all in the back of the truck, and up front's mine. The only thing that I really,
it's like your own little office cubicle.
Yeah, the only thing that I hate, or the only thing, especially in certain areas, I'm trapped back in the truck. If something happens or something's going on, I'm stuck in the back of the truck, dude.
Right.
There's one way in, one way out, and I don't know what I'm walking into sometimes. I don't know what I'm stepping out of the truck into.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that bothers me with that, because, again, if it's late, or if I'm in a kind of a wrong part of town type thing. Right. I mean, I don't get messed with. People, like I said, it's not a common thing, but it's always in the back of my head.
No, they just come and buy ice picks off of you.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I've had some interesting sales that way.
Yeah, there's there was a couple areas in my route where I just open carried.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. It's my place of business.
Yeah. It's funny. I had one guy, and I have a slider door now, but my old truck, the door opened out, it opened out, and
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Yeah, it was the older truck was the one that opened out instead of being a slider. And I was working on the computer, and it was late, and it was dark. And I caught this guy. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. I caught this guy walking by the door, and he had came back, and this time he had his hoodie, pulled up over his head and so forth. And he came up to the door and looked, kind of like looked in, and he stepped over to the side where the door opens up onto him. So, so I sat there, and me and Mr. Glock were ready, and I grabbed the door, and I turned the handle, and I kicked it, and of course the door swung into him, and he kind of fell down to the side, and I asked him what his problem was, and he got up and ran. But that was, like I said, the only time that that was one of the first times or really bothered me about being stuck in the back of the truck.
Yep.
So,
all right, gentlemen, it's midnight. I think I'm gonna sign off.
Yeah, I gotta go move this box, load it up for tomorrow's fun and excitement. It's a warranty exchange, which really
a whole box.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's out of square. It doesn't lock right.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big quality control thing.
I gotta take the trash out for Ray and feed the cat.
Yeah,
I mean, it won't be his trash or his cat. I'll just do it in his honor.
That's it. We had the biggest problem. It's not shipping from Mako to, if it's coming from Mako to us, it's one thing. But when it comes from the DC to us, they don't strap the boxes down in the trucks when they're being delivered. So when they bounce around, they don't so they think it's not going to go anywhere. But when those things bounce around because they're not strapped down, it really can fuck them up inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I think that's what happened with this box. It's just I try to get them. It's a pain in the ass, but I try to get them direct shipped from Jamestown up in New York. There from Jamestown to me direct.
Yeah,
because a lot of times sometimes they'll come down on the train, and I'll go pick them up in Elk Ridge. And sometimes I can get that done that way. But other than that, see what it does. It leaves Mako and goes down to the DC down in Tennessee. And then from Tennessee, it's shipped up to Roanoke, Virginia. And then from Virginia, it's shipped to me. Wow. So it's, I've had them shown up here, and they're all bounced. They bounced off the pallet. And I tell him, I said, why wasn't it strapped down? He goes, well, it's, 3,000 pounds or 2,800 pounds. It's not going to go anywhere. And I said, dude, it bounces around back here.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's,
I never had a problem like that. Ours always arrived pretty well packaged and stuff.
Yeah. It's usually, I think once it hits that third party, because,
the shipping company.
Yeah, because when I hit, I had a guy clearly states do not stack, don't stack, and they show up here because they got to make room on the truck. They'll put two of those they'll put two of those toolboxes on top of each other, and then the guy looks at me.
How do you get it apart?
And then they're sitting on they're in the cardboard box in the pallet, so it's sitting on top. And I'm like, dude, it says do not stack, and he goes, I don't know. He goes, where's your forklift? And I said, I don't have a forklift.
Right. Lucky if you have a pallet jack.
Yeah. So that turns into a whole cluster right there. So, but that's another time for a story.
Do you have a chain hoist?
Chain hoist. Yeah, just push it out of the back of the truck. Don't. Actually, right. I say just leave it that way, and I deny everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. Take a quick picture. Just take it back, buddy.
And that usually pisses everybody off then, because they don't want it back. Mako doesn't want it back, and now they got this whole cluster. So, and then of course, if it's a customer waiting for a box, that's a whole nother story. But
I always hated ordering boxes or anything like that. I only ever wanted to sell stuff I had in stock.
Yeah. Well, we used to have like our district meetings. We would have boxes there.
Yeah.
They would have, and now I always liked that because you got to see the box, you got to pick the box.
Yep.
You load the box and you had it. You didn't have to 4 to 6 weeks or pray to God that it didn't come in damaged. And so, but I'm the same way. If they don't have it, if it's not there, I don't, I usually don't mess with it. Oh, well. All right, guys, y'all play nice. Be safe.
Yep, you too.
And
I'll see you guys next week.
Have a good rest of your week.
Try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be Vegas and Halloween, so
I know. Good luck, right?
I might be interested in a little bit of trouble this time. You never know.
Remember, not everything stays in Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah,
HIV doesn't stay in Vegas.
Post plenty of pictures. For
sure.
That can't make it.
Yep, I will.
All right, guys.
All right.
Be safe on your trip.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.